Hi, everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode of Infinite Horizon. Um, so I'm just gonna get us started by saying that tonight we are all super low energy for good and obvious reasons. So do not expect the usual levels of boisterousness, as I don't expect nor do I require anybody to be able to muster those right now. Um, so tonight we are going to be raising funds for the Bail Project. We are going to be doing that with all of our streams this week, um, but we can start right now. And as you may have noticed, as a we have a special overlay for tonight that is different from our usual stuff, and this should tell you a bunch of the info that you need, just right down here below me. Um, And so all of our commands and timers with Nightbot are disabled tonight, except for the ones labeled below in the infographic down there. And those will provide you links to things to our donate. Will provide you with a donation link. Up over here, we have the donation bar where you can kind of keep an eye on that stuff. So on how that is progressing. Um, Important things to note. Henry, do you want to take this with the Bail Project stuff and get us all?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's right now to support equality and the protests and everything. There's a lot of good ways to donate your money. We picked the Bail Project partially because it's supported by Tiltify, which is a platform that's integrated with live streaming that you can run a fundraising campaign, and also because uh, with the protests going on, a lot of people are getting arrested, and bail funds are one of the best things to donate to right now. There's a lot of them out there. I encourage you to do your own research. We picked this one. Bail disproportionately fucks over poor people the way it works now, and disproportionately targets people of color. And the Bail Project, not only do they have a rotating fund to get people out and back with their lives, because if you're already low income, then being in jail is kind of starts a downward spiral. Um, but they also are working towards a different like community support system rather than cash bail. So we think that it's a worthwhile cause, especially at this time. There's a lot of other things. If anybody wants to throw links, there's like local bail funds. There's is it the North Star Health Collective? That's maybe specifically Twin Cities, but that's about educating
Minneapolis, yeah.
Minneapolis about educating people about being like medics and stuff. Um,
They've been doing a lot of field work
Mm-hmm.
during the protests here in Minneapolis too, so that's pretty cool.
right.
Yeah.
I think the ACLU is almost always a good place to donate to. Anybody have any other?
I know they're mounting specifically a lot of they're starting to sue different police departments and
Hell
Yes.
yeah.
that. So that's a really great cause. I would also really recommend that you look into your local bail fund because I know in my city we have a local one started now. If anybody cares, I'll tweet that out later. So I can also put the link in the chat at some point tonight, maybe during break. But I would recommend supporting your local bail fund because that's your community.
Mhm. I will say, I talked about this if you were at my stream last night, you would know that I'm very passionate about the independent journalism and media. Specifically in your area would be great to support, but anywhere, finding people who are on the ground and not selling their content to kind of more mainstream TV media, so that especially the live streams, because then you're getting completely unedited footage of what's happening there, and also you get to hear words from the people in the communities about what everything means to them and what's really been going on. So, highly recommend. Especially there are a lot of nonprofit ones, and people who would survive solely on donations. So that's one I think is very important.
Furthermore, uh, what another thing is that to note is that Rule of Lore, we will be matching donations up to $350. So that is pretty much our goal right now. The donation goal goes up to 500. We're gonna we're gonna try really hard for that, and hopefully we will get there. Maybe more. That would be great. But also, um, we'll support. We would be happy to have any help in this case, if you can't support right now, or if you, I know there's a lot of charity streams and events and fundraisers and donations of many kinds that have taxed quite a few people already for like what they can do. And I will say that it is enough that you are still here and in support of this cause. If that's what you can do right now, that's what you can do. We had this conversation earlier today, and we've seriously considered not streaming today, and that I'm not even entirely sure I'm still not entirely sure we've done the right thing, but what I do know is that I personally can't do much to help, and this is the one thing that I know that I can do, and the alternative was to sit feeling helpless all night, helping nobody. So at the very least, we can try
Utilizing the
this.
platform.
Yeah, such as it is.
And really quick, adding on to what Lucas said, there are lots of free ways too. If you are kind of strapped in, I've already donated. Look on social media for petitions to sign. Try to educate people around you if you can. Specifically petitions are what I've been doing, and especially contacting your local officials and your city about issues that you've seen with police, sending them proof and not letting them get away with what they're saying. All of those things are really helpful too. So it's not just about, although we would really appreciate money going to these great causes. It's also what you can do in your own community. So don't underestimate the power that you have.
Yeah. All right. All that said,
Great way to start.
welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. I know it's not easy, especially now, to feel like you can participate in anything other than the events that are going on, and so you're being here and supporting not only rule of war, but much more importantly this cause, because this is a big deal, and everybody's got to do something. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think so right now. So let us get started with tonight's episode of Infinite Horizon.
Some will say this is the end. We're surrounded, but we won't give in. No. Who will save us? Who will save us? Sometimes you gotta let go. Leave it up to the hero. Who will save us? Who will save us? When the truth's in the shadows, all hail to the heroes. They're gonna save us. Yeah, save us. Yeah, save us today.
Okay, we're back. Hopefully everybody's in the right spots now. Thanks for that catch, Heart of Handprints. I appreciate it. Yeah, we had a small spout of technical difficulties with people disconnecting like we were already live, and at the start screen people disconnected and things got jostled around. So thanks for that catch. Also, I saw Popcorn Lizard donated $5 via Tiltify. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Good start.
I'm gonna move away from taking a look at the chat for a bit, and we're gonna get started. So, previously on Infinite Horizon, the group made their way to a planet in the border worlds known as Darillia 3 specifically, um, where they were in search of a professor who knew something about the artifacts that Silverbreak has been looking into for unknown reasons. Artifacts that their very own doctor, Abriel, has found connections between those artifacts and the crew themselves and their abilities. What those connections are, however, are still unknown. Upon meeting the professor, he explained to them that he was in the process of procuring one of these artifacts for study, and that it was in the possession of a pirate crew that he was purchasing it from, and that he needed the crew to help him as backup for the exchange. However, when they arrived, they found not a pirate crew, but a solitary pirate captain, a Keldro by the name of Captain Desiree, who informed them that her possession of this artifact may have been slightly exaggerated, uh, and that she was in a position where her own crew had mutinied, marooned her on this planet, and absconded with the artifact. After a little bit of deliberating, they decided the best course of action to track down Captain Desiree's crew, deciding to work together for mutual ends, and set off in search of Captain Desiree's crew's hideout. Upon finding it, a old abandoned space station out in the boonies, they searched the place, finding it to be largely abandoned except for a small portion of Captain Desiree's crew. They discovered a message from Captain Desiree's quartermaster, that told the crew who had remained at the station, informed them of the location of a handoff, a potential deal for the artifact, and that they should get there as soon as possible, including coordinates. However, at that exact moment, Captain Desiree's crew that were there on the station arrived, revealing that they were in fact warped, the same mindless, bestial beings that had been encountered by the crew of Awakener on their first planetfall. And after a quick bout with the warped on the station, and a terrifying escape from the station, the crew had a little bit of explaining to do with Captain Desiree as to their strange abilities and just the general strangeness of their whole everything. And I believe that is pretty much where we left off. Did I miss anything?
No, but I want you to look at Tiltify right now before
I
we
just
start.
just tabbed over. Holy crap. Celtic Frost Mage donated $20. Thank you so much. And Jolly Old Obnixilus, $65. Wow.
This is off to a good start.
We're getting
Strong
places.
Strong
Thank you,
start.
guys.
Wow.
Thank
Wow.
you so much.
Thank you so much.
Remember, we'll match you dollar for dollar up to $350.
Yeah.
So
Thank
you so
we're
much.
getting places, everybody. Holy crap.
Damn.
Okay. Remember that conversation where we're like, oh, we probably won't actually make anything until the charity stream. So here we are.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Proved us wrong.
All right. So that, I believe, is where we left off. So we will pick up right now after exposition dump to Captain Desiree. You can tell me right now what exactly, because I know Lily knows, but tell me what you all tell Desiree. And just as a note, Peach is not present during this conversation.
Yes.
I'm not. Where am I at this point?
You're somewhere. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you say, guys?
I would basically say that we got superpowers from experiments from Silverbreak, and not go into too much detail beyond that, and like make it clear that we are fugitives and the stories about why we're wanted are wrong, but the fact that we're wanted is absolutely true.
Bina elbows Olam again to tell him that's not going to gain us favor with a criminal.
Oh shit, yeah.
Seem cagey or something.
Oh yeah, I say. Well, we did do some very serious crimes also as well. Very
It's like, yeah, okay.
high crimes, yes.
High crimes.
Right.
Bina's actually committed crimes. I think technically is one of the only people in the crew. And even then they were not much.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, I think brief lowdown. I think Bina starts to start rambling at a few points, and then it's like, wait, I've been told to reel it in. And then we'll like veer back and maybe repeat a couple of things until she finds back.
Desiree also wants to ask the deal with Alma because she can talk to ships. Is that correct?
Uh-huh.
That her superpower or just something?
We're still
else?
working on it.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Seems
Cool.
like it.
That sure appears to be the case.
Anyone else on your crew have powers? The cabin boy, the doctor?
Remains to be seen, I guess. I mean, from experience, can change at any point in time. So,
All right,
Who's the
good to
cabin
know.
boy?
The
Jade.
one who
He's
shot
talking about Jade.
Are we
whiskey
calling
with
him
us.
Are we calling him that now?
no.
I don't think so. Just checking.
So yeah, abridged, basically.
Okay.
Abridged version.
Cliff
Understand
notes.
enough to work with us, but maybe not into specifics.
All right. Fair enough. So while that is happening, you're getting the basics of their whole deal. Previously, Peach had opted to stay with the ship. Given at the mention of pirates, Peach had opted to stay with the ship, so that at least one of them was like with Jade and Alma and Abriel. Since Patch and Abriel were occupied, Abriel with being confined and Patch with confining her. It was Peach figured it'd be a good opportunity to go back to the ship. So during a bunch of these events, we'll sort of backpedal a little bit. We'll jump back a little bit. So during the crew's absence, you would be like when they're going to meet when basically we're jumping back to when the rest of the crew except for Peach had gone to meet Desiree. So Peach, basically at this point, you are making your way back to Awakener, walking up the ramp, and hearing sort of raised voices coming from the direction of the med bay. And as you step over in that direction, you can see. You're actually surprised to see Alma sort of like supporting herself against one of the bulkheads in the corridor leading to the bridge, with Abriel, just sort of like a distraught-looking Abriel standing inside the med bay with Patch, like attempting to shout around Patch, who is blocking her from reaching the doorway, as she's just saying, I'm just saying, you need to rest. And you hear Alma saying, I am fine, and I just need to be doing something. And Patch says, I must insist you remain inside the med bay while the others are away. Abriel says, yeah, I heard you the first time. And she,
I'm gonna just stick my head in as I walk past and just say, you guys are sounding a little rowdy, isn't he? Is everybody okay in here?
Alma turns and looks at you and just sort of smiles. She says, I'm fine. The doctor was just trying to inform me as to the merits of well-regulated sleep and rest.
Well, she may have a a little bit of a point there. When's the last time you got some rest, Alma?
Um, well, the last time was maybe about an hour ago, but I've been sleeping for at least 2 months and possibly more than that, so.
How do you feel right now, if you don't mind me asking?
Uh, restless, anxious to be doing something. Um, Otherwise, I mean, I have a little bit of a headache, but otherwise, I'm okay.
Doctor, is she medically okay to walk around?
Abriel just looks at you and just says, I guess.
Alma, why don't I come with you? And that way, if you get, unsteady or if you need to take a rest, I can take over. I can help you with what you're doing. Do you have something in mind, or are you just cleaning the whole ship? Because I can help that too.
She just sort of laughs and just looks over towards the cockpit and looks back and says, I'd like to maybe make my way up there.
Good, we need someone at the helm. I was gonna sit there and kind of pretend to press some buttons, but I feel like every time Bina explains it to me, I remember when she's explaining it, and then as soon as she goes away, I forget everything that she told me. So
Yeah. I can maybe try to explain a little bit of that to you.
okay.
As the two of you start walking down the corridor, Abriel just calls, "Yeah, great. And if you need any medical assistance, you know where to find me."
I'm gonna wink at Abriel as we
She
walk
just
away.
she doesn't see it because she's too busy shooting a dirty look at Patch, who says, "Please, step away from the entrance." And she says, I'm going. And she turns around, goes back in.
Good work, guys.
Uh,
As I walk away.
Alma just sort of turns to you and says, "Whew, thanks."
Glad you're committed to taking care of the crew.
You hear a muffled response as the door closes just before she can say anything.
That's what I was figuring.
Alma says, "Thanks. I know I need to rest, but at some point I'm gonna have to start walking around. I mean, who knows how much muscle atrophy I've already had just from being in stasis. So
No, I get it. I mean, you already lost some time. I get what that feels like. Totally normal to want to walk around and claim a little bit of that back.
yeah, and well, I guess I've technically never been on the bridge before, so
Well, welcome. I'll show you around.
thanks. And she kind of follows you into the cockpit, settles herself down in the pilot's seat, and just sort of starts kind of runs her hand over some of the consoles. She looks up at you and she says, it's different this way than projecting myself into this room."
Yeah. Better.
A little bit. And she sort of looks over in the direction of one of the consoles and then frowns for a moment, and then looks up at you and then says, "Right." She reaches over with her hand and toggles a switch, and you can see a couple of the displays just sort of pop up. And
I guess it's probably a little bit more work now.
maybe. I mean, it's weird because, I mean, I can still feel the ship. I can feel the sensors, but I don't know. Maybe it'll just take a little bit getting used to doing it this way. The rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you just woke up. I mean, who knows what you might be able to do it all. I don't know, with your mind at some point. We don't know.
yeah. Maybe.
How about the smell? smells different, right?
Oh yeah. I guess I didn't notice. It's hard to have a sense of smell as a hard light projection, but didn't really think about it, I guess. She just sort of shakes her head and looks up at you and says, "I forgot about smell.
Hmm.
What else did I forget? What else don't I know about me, the, about the galaxy? What This is probably this is probably in the vein of the things that Abriel would want me to not be focusing on right now. Not exactly restful thought.
Um, Not to go against doctor's orders or anything, but what is the last thing that you remembered, if you don't mind me asking?
I remember waking up. Not from the stasis. I mean, when Bina woke me up. And then before that, I have vague recollections of trying to stop the emergency on the Silver Break ship, saving the four of you.
Badass.
I was trying to save everybody.
Well, I'm happy with what you did. What you were able to do. You know, this is just a suggestion and you can think it over. But I wonder if your memories are still there somewhere and if I might be able to coax them out maybe in a dream of some kind. It might be a little, I don't know, we should really consult Abriel because I don't want it to bring up anything traumatic if maybe your mind's protecting you from things, but just something that you could consider. I mean, just something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I know I'm not ready to do anything like that now, but thanks.
Yeah, whenever you're ready. If you're ready.
Well, I think I'm gonna sit in here for a little while and maybe familiarize myself with the bridge this way.
All right. Well, if you do want some more funky smells, we have the kitchen ready. I've been watching Dina cook, so I think I could probably make something pretty weird. So if you need anything, come find me. I'll probably be cleaning the entire ship and trying not to think about pirates too much.
Right. Wait, pirates? And that's where we'll go ahead and cut to. um, we'll go ahead and cut a little ways ahead. During the actual, actually, we can have a scene that we didn't have last time, which is everybody coming back with Desiree. Peach, as you come up a little bit late, hearing voices from hearing the familiar voices of the rest of your crew from the direction of the hold. You make your way up as Bina has already left. You can actually see the retreating form of Bina's back as she makes her way towards the cockpit. As you look back towards where Olam and Mason and a Keldro woman that you've never seen. And actually, Lily, would you mind describing yourself for us again?
Sure, yeah, she's pretty tall and muscular. She has golden hair, like the Sovereign. I said like the Sovereign last time from Guardians of the Galaxy. Her striations are gold, and she has Lucas. This was back when I saw the ship for the first time, right?
Yeah, this is when when you just came on board for the first time.
Cool. So she's wearing outrageous pirate clothing, tricorn hat, outrageous pirate coat. And one leg from the knee down looks like a cybernetic peg leg.
Cool.
So that's.
And she's
go ahead.
Basically looking at the ship, clearly in awe of it.
Yeah, this is the scene that greets you as you make your way up from inside Awakener.
Huh.
And I'm pretty sure I'm telling off Jade right now, right?
Probably, yeah.
I walk in.
He's like showing off a gun, and I'm making fun of him a little bit.
Yeah. He's
Hey guys, I made some food while you're gone. Oh, you guys made a new friend, I see.
Hello.
Hi.
I assume my reputation precedes me.
Do I recognize her, Lucas?
I'm gonna go ahead and say probably not.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm sure I've probably heard of you.
Right.
It's a very unconvincing statement.
Jog your memory, and she does a pretty dramatic bow with her coat. Captain Desiree, the Dancing Blade, Siren of the Astral Sea. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Nice to meet you. I'm gonna kind of turn to the rest of the crew at this point.
Jade is as you turn, Jade is walking past you, still looking kind of flushed with embarrassment as he gives you a look that's just kind of and then just keeps walking back towards the engine room.
Jade was just getting bullied.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, kind of taking in the new person who is clearly dressed like a pirate, having just heard about pirates. I'm gonna just turn back to everybody else. So as the did we find any artifact, or what did you guys?
I need a story about the artifact. I'm sure your crew will have a good time telling you all about that. I'm going to find the alcohol.
All right.
I turn and explain what is about to happen.
So we will fast forward a little bit more. At this point, I'm pretty sure we can fast forward back up to current times. As you are all kind of gathered, finishing up your full explanations during Peach. About the point when everybody came back, you started making your way back to where they are, hearing kind of arriving in the middle of the exposition dump essentially, and so that'll bring us right up to current where we are right now.
So as Peach walks in, Desiree looks over to her and goes, "So what's your superpower?"
Oh, so we explained ourselves.
She saw. I don't really know how to proceed with this business relationship if we didn't exposit a little bit.
That's okay. I'm sure you guys had a reason. Well, I like to think that my superpower is being really friendly to all people. And if it needs to come up, it'll come up.
Right.
Also,
I'm sure you can.
Pretty easily.
All right. Maybe you can give me a demonstration later of being friendly.
This sounds pretty fun. One of our fun stowaways. We've had a couple.
Yeah, we keep collecting friends. That's kind of the MO here.
I'm Peach, by the way.
Right. Good to get a name.
So, not to break up fun times, they're warped on the station, and we have to go.
Oh,
Right.
how? We don't know how they got there.
Artifact.
They had the artifact, and then they split off on a shuttle.
A very troubling development.
And the place that we're going to go find them is heavily populated.
It's a jungle, a hive of scum and villainy.
Okay. How far away are we from there?
I think.
I know it's 8 hours
few
travel.
Yeah, it's about 8 hours.
Okay. Would we have time for? No, I was trying to think if we could. I was like, maybe we can get wired to do some sort of cool hacking stuff so that we don't immediately get recognized. But
How many more of those masks can you make, Golem? Can you make like one?
In 8 hours.
In 8
How many
hours?
more of
Oh.
those like buzzy facial obfuscation fields can I make in 8 hours?
Given that you already have made a prototype,
I have 4 arms. Can I help?
yeah, I'm gonna say
I'm really stubborn. Can I help?
I love that.
if I say no, will it make a difference?
I cannot help because she does not know what subtlety means.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, I bet you could probably make you could probably get at least one made in that time.
Can we make the hat shadow for for Mason?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, just a partial one. Yeah, I want to. I'm like, yeah, let's. Yeah, I'll get to it. But I guess to be honest, I'm not sure if all of us having this will draw attention away from us or towards
That's
us.
fair. Are they like reprogrammable? Like, could we have them do different things at a later date?
Let me.
GM?
Let me
Probably.
tinker and see.
Yeah.
Probably. Cool.
I mean, I did pick up some like disguise materials when we last resupplied, so I could probably, if we have 8 hours, I could probably do some basic disguise on folks. I don't know if anybody's better at makeup than I am. My experience is mostly just putting it on myself before going places, but I'm sure I could figure out something if we have 8 hours.
I have no useful skills here.
You always have useful skills, Bina.
Thanks.
All right.
Let's go.
All right.
Crafting montage.
I'm gonna just keep a good eye on the new edition.
She is drinking.
Cool.
She picked up a bottle of rum on the ship and she finished about half of it during the exposition, so she's working on the rest of it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Also, the ship is a little cleaner than last time. Peach is definitely cleaned because she doesn't know what else to do.
Can't sit still.
It's very, very neat in here. Wow.
Definitely the nicest it's been since we've had it. Thanks.
Alma was sitting there and she was talking about how restless she was, and then it made me feel really restless. So then I cleaned like a good half of the ship.
I feel that. I once completely disassembled and reassembled my bike because I just didn't want to sit still.
Yeah, it was kind of that situation. Got a little antsy while you guys were gone. Not gonna lie.
Sure, I could find something to occupy your time. Desiree shouts from the other side of the room.
It's on the other side.
I appreciate your persistence.
It's like,
Jade, who's like nearby, turns and goes, You do?
Wait, who said that?
Jade.
Jade.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do think it's a little funny, and that's all I'm gonna say about the matter, Jade. Why? Do you need girl advice? Can I help you?
What? No, I don't. Why would you? I mean, I have to go fix. And he just like
What, is he blushing?
Yeah. Yes, beet red. Like he is gone. He's
What have I just been bowled over with?
Well, Mason dusts his hat off.
Again, I'm sorry. I was a little restless while you guys were gone.
No, actually, that just gave me a good idea. I need to clean my bunk and look over some notes.
Is there a washer dryer on this ship?
The equivalent of
Yeah,
probably.
sure. Yeah.
There's just a clothesline hanging in the vacuum and out in space, and all the particles
You're
just drift
trailing,
out.
just trailing
Yeah.
laundry in space.
It's like
That's how
sounds like-
Silverbrick found us the first time.
Oh, of course.
Just leaving
I
socks behind.
recognize this sock.
No wonder I can't find my other matching sock. It's in space. Silver
Literally in the void.
Nebula.
That's like something out of Futurama, I swear.
I running clothespins.
You think that only like gravity manipulation can
Oh.
like faster in this?
To do, yeah, probably.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
When Mason really does leave, he's gonna go organize his bunk and look over some notes.
Okay. All right. What are the rest of you doing during your trip?
I will try to make another one of the face hiding fields if I can.
Well,
Okay.
I will assist.
Oop, Jesus, sorry, everything got really bright all of a sudden. Everything's fine.
You're being interrogated by your own light.
Yeah, my own computer's just like, where were you on the?
It's Mason. He's in there.
I was right here, man.
Where's Rachel?
All right, so okay, so this is gonna be a check. This is gonna be an intelligence roll, the difficulty of which is going to be 4. I'm not entirely sure you're gonna need to roll for this one because
I've got two power shifts.
yeah, and you've got an
into,
and then you've got an asset
help
from
for me.
Bina and an asset from it existing. So from your having an existing prototype. So I don't actually think you need to roll for this one.
I do it. That's my favorite. That's my favorite type
But
Alright.
you
of roll.
can if you want to.
I do want to
Okay.
because I could get a 20, but I hope I don't get a 1.
Yeah.
I got a 17.
Okay.
So
So well, yeah, you're able in the course of this 8 hours with Bina's help to sort of modify your design to fit another crew member's aesthetic. So yeah, you're able to. Was it the Mason hat? Is that what you're working on? Is that what you were working on?
Your call.
yeah, sure.
Oh,
If is that you want that, Mason? You want a hat
Okay,
that casts
mean-
like a
that means that what happens is Mason, before he leaves to his room, he dusts his hat. He's like, "All right, well, do your thing," and throws the fedora to you
Oh.
and just walks away.
I try to catch it in a cool way and I like juggle it.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I do this, okay, this is kind of another step, and we don't have to address. I want to like modify all of them to be less of like a blurry cloud of TV static and look more like just like obscure details of a face. Like if somebody looked at you from far away, it would just kind of look like they wouldn't be able to make out your face. That's the idea I'm
Yeah.
trying to get at here as I tinker with these.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. That's easy enough to do.
Make you look less specific.
Mhm.
Exactly, literally that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to make a new acronym for what this device is called. It's the less specific facial feature in something.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You by the end of the 8 hour travel, you were able to put together modify Mason's hat with sort of a permanent projector that can be toggled on and off.
Holographic shadow.
Yep.
Love it. That's perfect.
It's all about aesthetic here, okay?
I'm so delighted by this.
Yep. All right. Anybody else have specific things that they want to accomplish during this?
That's all my time probably spent helping, right? If I'm giving the asset.
Not necessarily. No, I mean, given that you're just most of Olam's 8 hours will be taken up by that, but you can, since you're sort of mostly assisting, you can sort of dip in and out. So
I probably can only help with the physical aspects, anyways.
At some point, and other than just being a general nuisance, Desiree will eventually describe what Lash looks like to everyone, because I'm assuming that, from what we heard, the message was from Lash, and so assumedly Lash is the person that we're looking for. Slash, if Lash is there, Desiree wants to know.
Mm-hmm.
Still looking for a racketed woman. And I don't know if there are other specifics. Maybe she has like a very obvious jacket with like a bunch of buttons down the center, because we
Racted's-
have an aesthetic on this ship.
Recteds also are like across the board. They modify themselves cybernetically, so that's a thing that also.
There's a specific cybernetic that you think she should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unique.
Let's say she's got a sort of to match my iPad. She's got an eye that is has that, what is that called, where it can like zoom in and zoom out, that
Like the
cool-
aperture.
Yeah, that thing.
Oh, cool.
And it's
Yeah,
got like
yeah,
just
yeah.
a red light,
Mhm.
so it looks really intimidating.
Awesome.
That's cool.
I'll take this
One of her
moment.
multiple eyes.
Take this moment also to thank you for that donation, Sylvia. $30.
Oh,
thank you so
thank
much.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you, Danger Dog for the bits. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you,
Um,
everybody.
All right. So, Yeah, with just sort of descriptions and things like that, sort of distributed. Sorry, just before I move on, is there anything else?
Can I ask? Can I get a lore answer about what do we know what ractids
Oh,
are? Because
absolutely.
Henry doesn't know what that is.
Yeah. Okay, so ractids are a anthropomorphic arachnid species. They, as I said, they frequently, in fact, it's almost almost never are they seen without cybernetic enhancements of some kind. It's sort of become kind of a cultural staple for them. They A little bit of the history behind ractids is that they are actually from near one of the regions of dark space within the border worlds. And some time ago, like long before humans arrived in this galaxy, ractids were they threatened a lot of the Ractid Armada threatened a lot of known space, and they were sort of swarming over space, and probably would be largely in control of things today, more or less, if not for the fact that they had one particularly important maneuver that went badly as they tried to cut through dark space. The remainder of the Armada emerged significantly depleted, entirely unprepared for any combat to take place on the other side. Upon reaching the other side, the remainder of the Armada promptly surrendered to the forces arrayed there against them, and later, most of them refused to talk about what had happened. Several of them cited. They mentioned sightings of creatures within the vicious creatures within the regions of dark
You want to
space.
talk about dark space?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, essentially there are patches of dark space throughout the galaxy where the distance between stars is so vast that it is impossible to see. Yeah, it's just completely pitch black. It's just empty space. Well, not empty. There's matter, but no light.
Yeah, I can't wait to get this map out to you guys. We started adding in this dark space, and I was like, this is actually kind of chilling to look at.
It's inside the galaxy. Is it the same kind of space that's between galaxies? I guess I don't know if that matters contextually.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much just like space devoid of starlight, essentially.
Right.
Like,
ooh, spoopy.
Very spooky.
There's only, I think, like 1.5 in the current known sector of space. There's a lot of them in some other ones, but specifically ones that we would encounter, there's only 1 or 2.
In terms of temperament, ractids tend to not exactly be team players. The one exception that is known to history is the Armada that nearly destroyed everything. They are not known to be team players. They are prone to being loners, and those who are not are frequently, there are multiple expressions across various cultures about putting your trust in ractids. Let's just put it that way. That's of course not a comprehensive take on them, but at least as far as most of the rest of the galaxy's dealings with them, it's pretty accurate.
Keep an eye out for lore docs eventually.
And when describing her, Desiree seems pretty she seemed pretty convinced that or she tries to hide it, but she seems like she's really actually legitimately hurt by this betrayal. Like she had actually maybe seen, like Bina would probably get this, she had maybe seen sort of a kindred spirit in Lash and is not taking this well, but is clearly not. She's trying to hide it, but she's not very good at hiding it.
Not coping well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, unless there's anything else.
Kaner probably spends a lot of time on the bridge.
Okay.
Do we have time for rests here?
Yeah, I would say so. There'd be time. Olim might be pushing it, but at least for the purposes of recovery and stuff like that, yes, is the answer. Um, okay, so the location that you're heading towards is, as I said last time, it is a planet that has no name, or rather, it has many names depending on who you ask. But the specific location on that planet that you are going to, is a valley on one of the kind of dead center in the middle of one of the continents, one of the larger continents, that started out as sort of a small pirate hideout, that grew over time and became a sort of slapdash pirate metropolis, known as Marauder's Landing. It is a hotbed for criminal activity and criminal inactivity. It's a haven and a base of operations. It is one of the few neutral settlements within the border worlds that is neutral ground that is observed by all of the various factions in the border worlds. There are rumors that it is that the neutrality and the peace there is enforced by a shadow organization, but nobody seems to be able to say who. But
does Desiree know about this place?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so we're gaining, if we don't know this knowledge, we're gaining it from her
Mhm.
probably. I ask if regulators are unwelcome there, or if they just aren't allowed to do, like, if they're tolerated but can't, like, enforce anything.
They are tolerated as long, they have no jurisdiction, and they actually seem to the organization as a whole actually does seem to respect that. But it's also generally not a good idea for them to walk around in uniform if they're there.
Sense.
So, yeah. Although that's not so much an ordinance as much as it is just a good practice for them.
Understood.
Yeah, it's just good practice for them.
Yeah, if I remember, you said I'd been here before, but I hadn't been to the specific warehouse
Right,
where
the specific
Lash said to go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did we get a name for this place?
Which place?
Where we're going? Not like the whole planet system thing. Is there a title to it?
No.
Okay.
It's called many different things.
It's called many different things by many
Fair.
different people. But the specific city that you're going to is Marauder's Landing.
Okay.
Perfect.
I think Desiree probably just calls it the jungle.
Yeah.
Cool.
Actually, it's probably pretty common amongst in mixed company for pirates and smugglers to refer to it as the jungle. That's probably a pretty common thing.
The planet is literally mostly jungle, right?
Yeah.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
a lot of it is jungle. At
Right.
the very least, the largest continent on it, where Marauder's Landing is located, is mostly jungle and wild coastlines. So,
Never been-
you as you're making your way in, having dropped out of FTL at the edge of the system, making your way in towards the planet, you can see numerous ships in orbit around the planet, just sort of.
Are they cool? Do they look cool?
Oh yeah, there's quite a few. There's also quite a few that Bina looks at as like, really, you're flying that?
Good luck, buddy.
There's quite a few of those as well. But for the most part, actually, interestingly, there's a few of them that, as Awakener goes on to approach Vector, a few of them are sort of in your path, and they, as Awakener approaches them, they start scattering. Actually, they like it's, and consulting with Desiree and possibly even Mason, you would learn that there's pretty much an unspoken stay in your lane agreement amongst everybody who comes this place. So you stay out of my way, I stay out of yours, kind of thing.
Well, is it because were we a bigger ship, or it seemed like we were more outfitted than the ones that moved away from us?
No,
or like
just mostly
no?
like a
making space?
yeah, making space. Like, we don't want any trouble.
Got it.
and like that kind of thing.
Do I see the siren? Do I see my child?
You don't. Just at a quick glance, looking around, you don't see. Granted, the ships that tend to orbit are usually the ones too large to land, or the ones not designed to make planetfall.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. But that said, no, you do not see the siren amongst them. You begin to break atmosphere as you hear the comms crackling, and you hear, what do you want?
I look at Desiree.
Captain Desiree, here to have some fun.
Yeah, okay. Sending you some coordinates to landing site. You a cop?
Thank you.
No?
You sure you're not? Are you sure?
All cops are bastards.
All right, I'll send you the coordinates. And the communication cuts out. And
Bina looks at Desiree. Did I do it right?
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Alma glances over and she says, "Charming place." As
Keen on security here, apparently.
at this point, Awakener, you following the coordinates that pop up on your screen, you make your way towards basically an area looking below you as you pass up over some trees. You finally get a visual of the metropolis. What just happened?
Sorry, look at the tilt 5, please.
Oh God!
Holy shit! Sorry.
I saw it go up in the corner
Oh
of my eye.
god. Okay. Victoria
Holy
just
shit,
donated
thank you.
$200. Thank you.
Victoria, my love. Thank you.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Hey,
So much. That's 350. That's the match
there we
goal.
are. We'll match
Well,
that.
we hit our
Holy
match
crap.
goal, and we're not even at our break yet.
Thank you. We might have
Thank
to
you.
keep pushing the goalposts.
Whew.
Holy shit!
Okay.
That's a good problem to have.
Exactly.
Thank
Yeah.
you
I've
so
seen,
much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've seen other. Yeah. This is great. Thank you so much.
Holy crap. Okay. Thanks. I don't know how. Okay.
Ooh.
I'm gonna refocus and process that. We're gonna process that by going back to the game.
I'm gonna play an RPG.
And we're all crying by the end.
Okay.
People are being generous.
Holy
Oh,
crap!
man.
Oh my God.
Okay. Well, okay.
I
Awake.
don't know if I can do this 2 days in a row, you guys. Oh, my heart's gonna give out.
All right. So Awakener touches down, or not quite. As you're, I totally forgot where I am.
You know what?
There is no order here. All right, you're starting to get a visual of the city itself, and city is an accurate term for it. Surprisingly, given that this place started out as a small pirate hideout that grew into a shanty town that is now just a sprawling metropolis constructed largely of wood and bits of metal that have been pulled together, and you can see pieces of old derelicts that have been basically cannibalized and repurposed. Far less. It reminds you actually kind of Sulon a little bit, only far less intentionally done. A lot of the vessels here look like they probably had an unfortunate end on the surface of the planet prior to being incorporated into the city. But looking at the place, it spans probably easily about 20 miles in every direction in this place. It is a huge city. Some of the taller buildings going up even as far as maybe 20 stories. So it is not a flat plain or a small shanty town as you might have expected from its name or location. And it is in fact a fully realized pirate metropolis.
Sounds like a cool band name.
Pirate Metropolis, yeah.
I bet that exists in a
It
world.
probably does. Yeah.
It's Jade's favorite band. He listens to Latin engineering.
Yeah.
Genre as it.
It's probably
genre.
it's probably whatever this galaxy's equivalent of punk rock is.
Mhm.
So but looking below you as you move in for approach, you can see below where there are numerous docks that stand about each one each level, there are various levels, the highest of which are probably about 20 stories themselves off the surface, and varying layers where you can see all ships of all shapes and sizes, from some from as recently as the previous year's line. Some of them probably been around too long, shall we say.
As we pass some of them, Bina just goes, "Oh, someone needs to put you out of your misery." Oh no!
You just feel every once in a while just sort of a reassuring pat on your shoulder from Alma, who just kind of gives you a sympathetic look and goes back to the approach vector. You find your particular dock is, and when I say docks, I mean like literal dock. Like they look like modern day like ship docks, only they're just sort of much higher in the air and basically stacked on top of each other.
God.
You pull into one that's just sort of on the far edge, and next to just this enormous, clunky looking freighter. Easily, like you could probably fit Awakener inside of it 5 times over. It is huge.
The shit I used to drive.
Yeah, somewhere in that range, absolutely.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, you can see the various rusty plates on the outside that signify the ship as one that doesn't make its way in for routine maintenance particularly often. But
Less nostalgia.
as you feel the sort of shudder as the docking clamps engage, you sort of glance over as Alma is just sort of running the shutdown on Awakener's engines. She says, "All right, we are docked." She kind of glances over. She says, "Kind of getting the hang of this, actually. This whole
Nice.
physically
I knew you did
manipulating
it.
switches and yeah."
Yeah.
She kind of glances out. She kind of looks sort of in awe out at the view of the metropolis out of the view screen. She says, "I didn't expect it to look like this."
Me either.
You don't want me to go with you, do you? Because, I mean,
are you okay? Do you want to? You don't have to.
I'll get back to you on that.
Do I get the? I was gonna say, if I feel hesitance, I'll be like, then you can stay.
You're feeling a mix of wistful anticipation and like this sort of excitement at finding new things, but also just sort of a trepidation and reluctance that is bordering on concern.
I think then midway through I think we'll be like, we'll definitely need you for the next one. So
yeah,
we can.
This might not be the best place for me to make my first
foray.
Yeah, out of the ship after
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at any point, if you're up for it, you can do it. But if you want to sit this one out, I support that decision.
I think I will monitor things from here.
Yeah. I mean, you keep an eye in the sky.
Yeah. She kind of glances out and looks at you and just says, "Good luck."
God, we're gonna need it. And Bina gets up and grabs her toolkit and
I was in the corner sharpening her cutlass with like a whetstone, just like looking at her reflection in it, like, yeah, kill some pirates.
Jade is just sitting there watching you like. All right.
I would have done people's makeup a little bit differently, tried to disguise folks as much as possible, probably mostly with like just making people's features look different, especially in parts that would like come up on cameras. Like I probably would have pulled up some equivalent of this place's YouTube to figure out how to do that, because I wouldn't have known how to do that.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
Incognito mode.
Yeah, I could also see. I'm sort of imagining that by this point, it's totally viable that Bina would have altered some of her clothing so that she could easily like conceal her extra set of arms.
Oh yeah,
Like-
she has the like the larger size a shirt so she can cross her bottom arms like around her ribs, and then only have the two
Possibly
arms.
even
So
just
she's
like nice like concealed like slits in the side of it so that she can just like extend them at any point.
Oh
just,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Surprise!
Modified clothes. Yeah, I mean, Orzai like don't have like all of them are bald. Like none of them. They all have the hard carapace, don't have hair, and all the antennas are pretty much the same, but they vary in like color and like a number of limbs. So yeah, that would be her big thing. Would be like, okay, I am just a simple two-armed Orzai. There's
Yeah.
no need to suspect me of being that other four-armed Orzai you've seen on the news.
Hotman. Hotman. Hotman.
What was that, Olivia? Say that again.
Oh, I said you're not like that other one. She has 4 arms, you know.
You see me, I only have 2. How
Yeah.
could I possibly be the one you've seen?
No
in those?
Mason,
No correlation.
at this point, you're sort of standing near Olam, who would be handing you your new hat back.
It looks like my hat.
Ah, it does, doesn't it? But look right inside the front, right under the brim.
Oh, you've utilized the under the brim technique.
Yeah.
No, I've used this to hide many things.
Well, now you can use it to hide your face. If you toggle that field on, it should obscure your features enough for hopefully camera equipment and to the naked eye of people who see in most of the visible spectrum. There might be somebody out there who can see through it.
Yeah.
How do I look?
You watch as just like this very actually pretty natural looking shadow that's like cast by the hat that just sort of. The only thing that unnatural about it is maybe like how dark it is, but like it does a good job of like obscuring like the top half of Mason's face, leaving little visible besides his mouth.
You just have to grow a beard, and then no one will recognize you.
I mean, it's kind of getting a little rough. I haven't shaved in a couple of days. Do you recognize me?
Well, I know you.
Yeah.
Fair.
Why is there a strange man on our ship?
All right.
I love that our best liar has lied poorly twice in one session for the benefit of others both time, but did it badly.
Too.
Yeah.
I love this juxtaposition. You all are so incognito, and Desiree has like a blinking neon sign above her.
This is, hello, I am a pirate.
Yes.
Is this like are these outfits okay? What's the typical like pirate gear? What will help us be undetected?
Well, my style's a bit eccentric. Normally
Wait,
you just sort of wear right? You won't think so. Normally you just sort of wear whatever is there, whatever's the most dirty, least dirty, depends on your style. Armor, whatever sort of covers most of your skin to keep, anything to catch any blades that might come at you, but otherwise.
Okay, so if we can really wear anything.
Right, yeah.
Cool.
Just look not mean. Look like you don't care that you're mean.
Oh.
Huh.
Okay, I'll try. I will practice a mean face.
I know that's against your superpower, so I know that might be difficult, but I believe in you.
This is out of character, but you want to impart ideal on a bunch of us, right?
Oh, sure.
Do not.
Yeah, I
do not.
That would be so bad.
That's terrible.
Everyone in front of us, we're all mean now.
Everyone would just literally be pirates for the. It would just actually
This is our
pirates.
Mirrorverse episode, except it's in universe.
Maybe like an unrelated one shot where we're all mean. But
Okay.
I'm gonna practice not smiling.
Fair. All right.
Before we go into the city, thank you for the
Yes.
big donation.
Thank you. It was it Heart of Handprints? Is that? Yes. Heart of Handprints donated $25. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. So,
75%.
I know. You all step off the boarding ramp of Awakener onto the dock. Bina sort of immediately looking around for any sign of any kind of like harbor master or anything like that, but see nothing of the sort anywhere. as you just sort of look around, sort of awkwardly.
Yeah, that checks out. What happens next? Are we good? Are we good to go? She looks at Desiree.
Yeah, I mean, as long as, no one comes along and tries to pillage your ship, I'm assuming your cabin boy can probably fight him off, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. She's just Venus gonna send a quick basically text message to the ship, being like, no dock security. Good luck. and then and then we will we'll head up.
All right.
We'll double check the locks when we leave.
Yeah. Yeah, you begin walking through the streets, and it is pretty chaotic. There are people occupying every available space. Once you leave the docks, people just everywhere. It's a suppressed crowd around you as people just sort of shove their way wherever. There appears to be zero order of any kind in this place. It is crowded.
I think once again, like kind of similar to Sulan, as soon as we enter a crowded area, Bina gets a little bit keyed up. I think she has not had to deal with her heightened abilities around a lot of people. It has only happened a few times, so this is she's still learning, and I think she kind of gets a little bit like like focusing all over the place. It'll rein in after a little while, but I think immediately it's kind of noticeable that she's go.
Yeah.
There's like a shift in Desiree where she's very New York native in Times Square, where it's dodging the tourists, like just moving, has wild spatial awareness, like bobbing and weaving.
Olam is like very unabashedly just like rubbernecking everywhere and like almost bumping into people pretty frequently. Just taking in the sights, even looking like directly up at the sky traffic and shit, just kind of his mouth gaping.
Yeah. You can see members of various species, some of which actually you don't even recognize, as you begin like picking your way through the crowd. Most people are avoiding eye contact, which at some point either Desiree or Mason would explain to you is as much for you as it is for them, as quite often too much eye contact can be mistaken for a challenge and has resulted in many a brawl in the middle of the streets.
Good.
So.
Oh, I think Bina has goggles on and has like something with a hood, with a hood up.
Yeah.
Is also trying to be a little bit more because of her wild eyes, like looking at her. Just
I remember this place now. I actually did get a lot of my training here. Not official training. This is where I learned to look and observe without pointedly looking and observing.
Practical training.
Yeah.
How many fights did you get into on the way, Mason?
That's a story for another time. I'll tell you sometime.
Bina, as you're walking, you hear a quick little, you hear a little beep from your terminal as you pull it up, and you can see that the coordinates, basically your terminal's map has essentially updated, and you can see the coordinates and the pointer for the coordinates for the warehouse as you begin making your way in that direction. It's maybe probably about 20 minutes or so of pushing your way through the busy streets before you make your way out finally into the warehouse district, which is significantly less crowded. As you make your way in, you're starting to see the only people that you really see are either workers at warehouses or what look like armed guards that are standing outside of some of the warehouses in a way that definitely suggests something shady is going down inside.
I think Bina genuinely has a reaction to that, because
Mm-hmm.
that was her. That was kind of the last thing she encountered before all of this happened. So I think there's kind of like a instinctual, will kind of step to the side of someone.
Mm-hmm.
Not even consciously, we'll just kind of step to the side and put someone between her and them, but keep walking.
Yeah. As you pass through the rows of warehouses, some of the guards out front just sort of eye you as you walk by and just sort of just keeping an eye. You can see like it's just yeah.
Let his hand down.
Yeah.
Get us killed?
Oh, sorry.
I'm just watching you as you go by, and then just sort of refocusing back to kind of watching the streets.
Normally that would be Bina, but she's having a moment.
Like catch herself a couple times, like starting to smile as she passes people, and then like forcing her to like force herself to stop and just kind of like grimace.
Mean face.
You after a few moments just sort of walking through this district, you hear another beeping sound as you look down, and glancing up, you see that the coordinates indicated are the warehouse that is immediately in front of you as you are making your way down one of the side streets. There does not appear to be anybody outside of the warehouse. It is as deserted as the rest of them around it.
I kind of flag everyone over and kind of like hold my terminal out so everyone can be like, I think it's the third one over there. What's the plan?
Lash didn't give like a specific time for the handoff, right? She was pretty vague. Just said tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
Coordinates tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do we know who it's getting handed off to?
Lash said the boss, whoever that is.
Give me a sec. I want to step over right against the wall of the building, and just kind of like point my hands down, and then just start hovering up to the top of the building.
All right. Damn.
All right. So,
Is there anyone within eye shot of this?
not as far as you can see right now.
Can I like take a step out and around just to like kind of make sure I have eyes on everything?
Yeah,
I just want to make sure we're totally covered.
Yeah, you kind of you do a quick Mason probably already ahead of you and doing like the sort of perimeter. You make your way around. You don't see anybody, and actually you haven't seen anybody like for a while by the time you reach this particular point. But just doing a quick look, you don't see anybody else around any of the other warehouses either.
I'm keeping feelers out too.
Mm-hmm.
Brain feelers.
Yeah. So sorry, Olam, you said where are you going specifically?
I'm hovering up to the. Well, how many stories tall is this warehouse? First of all,
It looks like at most it's probably 2 inside, but yeah.
Okay,
it's one of the smaller ones on this particular row.
Like basically, pressed almost flush against the outside wall. I just with my back to it, I just kind of grin and then just start hover up to the top, and then when I reach the top, I rotate and like crouch almost prone on the roof and look around for like a skylight or any kind of
you can see basically like sort of a raised section, sort of vaulted section that like along the sides of it there's like windows basically that as you sort of make your way over to that, sort of glancing inside and down, you can see basically down through a bunch of support struts into the warehouse proper beneath you. Looking down, it's pretty dark on the inside. You can see there's a few lights on, but still like basically just illuminating certain areas, mostly down the center of the warehouse. And as you look in, you aren't seeing any movement. Honestly, this warehouse is pretty much entirely empty. You can see some places in the corners, just outside of your particular view, where you see sort of piles of refuse and what looks like might be sort of a like maybe somebody's encampment, but like basically just like a bedroll, and you can see like the remains of like think the oil can, like the oil barrel that like next to that with that you can see where there's still like the remains of like burned fuel inside that I'm sort of taking a look. Besides that,
like somebody's dwelling in here, maybe.
Like maybe at one point somebody
possibly at some point.
Yeah.
It's okay. It looks abandoned.
It could
or close
very
to
easily be very much so.
Okay. It doesn't look like there's anybody there. It doesn't look like there's too many comings and goings. It could be abandoned. I communicate all that.
I'll walk over and test the door.
Yeah. The door is not locked. And as you arrive, you can see there is a lot like a magnetic lock on the door, but you can see that it probably hasn't worked for some time. You can actually still see where somebody like messed with it. It has probably been at least a year, but possibly more since that lock served its function. As you just sort of pull the warehouse door open.
Flip down the eye patch, tracker's on.
Yeah.
Scanning the area.
Sort of glance around inside. From here, normally a warehouse like this, and you can actually see where it would have like different dividers and various sections inside, but this one, it looks like all of them have been completely removed. It's just sort of a large cavernous interior that is mostly empty. I mean, you're seeing from a different perspective essentially what Olam saw from above. There's piles of junk and what looks like an abandoned camp.
Do I have line of sight to where Desiree's come in through the door?
Yeah.
I just give a stupid little wave from the ceiling window.
Show off. If anybody's in here, I'd highly suggest coming out now. It'll be a lot easier for you. I will kill you fast.
Ina, do you feel anybody?
Yeah, I'm reaching out.
Okay.
Do I feel anybody?
Immediately within your range? No, you don't feel anyone.
Could I spend to increase that range?
Yeah, actually, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I'd say you could just do like a 3-point spend for that.
Cool. Could I get the whole warehouse, or
Yeah.
is it just will I have to walk around? Okay,
Yeah,
cool,
you
cool.
could.
Yeah, I'll do that. I haven't eaten by edge. I have
Mhm.
an edge or two,
Yeah.
so 1. Awesome.
All right.
Delightful. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
Sort of concentrating in a way that you haven't really done before. You try to push beyond the limitations of your empathic sense, and you begin to feel. You start to feel Olam, and then you start to feel that range increasing until you can kind of sense the entire warehouse. Not a soul.
It's empty. Of
Right.
organic life, at least.
Is there any kind of light switch anywhere?
Me.
Yeah, you kind of reach in. You can flip a switch. Some lights go on, some of them don't. But yeah,
I want to look
It-
around
Kind
to
of
see if
point.
there's a...
I kind of like reach for your sword. I'm like, can I touch it for a second?
Sure, you can touch my sword.
I kind of she wipes her hand down across it, and now it glows.
Mhm.
Flashlight.
Oh, that's a neat trick. Thank you. I'll go in and look for any signs of anyone being here recently, because Desiree is good at very few things that involve intellect, but tracking is one of them.
all right, cool.
I'll help.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make this one a roll. This is
Okay.
gonna be an intellect roll, and the difficulty is going to be. I say the difficulty on this is gonna be 6.
Oh God.
You
Oh
get,
God.
yeah,
Is it a task that involves sight?
it is a task that involves sight.
Then I will give you encouragement because I
Cool.
have a 3
Let's-
shift in that. I can help you.
Yeah, so
All right.
so you get that. You get
Fun.
your is it
Encouragement.
an asset? Is that how that works?
It is allies gain an asset.
Okay, and then you've got an
And
asset.
any task related to
You've also got
skill.
an asset from Mason helping.
Okay.
Uh,
Then I have my tracking skill,
Mhm.
I'm assuming.
Yes.
All right.
Do you have any other things you can look down through your list?
Yeah, let me see. I'm pretty sure I don't. This is not intimidation.
could
This
always
is not
spend effort.
balancing or climbing. I could, but Desiree doesn't. She's not. I don't know if you guys noticed, but she doesn't have a whole lot of intelligence. That's really not her thing. Reflexes, surprise attack. Nope. Cool. Yeah, let's see what happens.
All right. So you're just sticking with the difficulty 3, right? Is that where we're
Yeah,
at?
so
Okay.
9 or better.
Okay. Cool.
That's irony is cruel. That's an 8.
Oh no!
Whoa.
Roll.
Do you want to re-roll?
Nah, it's fine.
Okay. You look around and you see signs that there may have been people in here recently, but you got nothing more specific than that. Between you and Mason, you're sort of examining the place. You're pretty confident that there's been somebody in here recently, a few people even, but unclear how recently, or how many, for that matter.
Right. someone, but don't know if it's who we're looking for.
Can I take a look around the place that looked like it had been like someone's abode for a moment or two?
Sure.
Just kind of see what's over there.
Yeah.
Like, more closely.
You can see like as you get there, you can see like sort of a moth-eaten bedroll, as well as the barrel that was clearly used as a heat source. You can see a variety of excuse me. You can see a variety of containers that look like they probably had food of some kind in them that are just sort of strewn around, and most of them very old looking, like they've been there for a long time. Some of them even gathering some rust a little bit. It looks like this camp probably hasn't been occupied in a very long time. Yeah, it looks.
I carefully climb off the roof and then hover back down and go in the door like a normal person to join my friends.
Good landing, Olam. I didn't see it, but I assumed that it was a good landing.
Oh, absolutely. I like kick dust off my feet.
Lucas, where were like the nearest people? I know you said they were pretty far out, but did we see like guards somewhat nearby, like on the way?
I mean, somewhat. They weren't particularly close. You're kind of towards the far end of the warehouse district at this point, like really just like a couple rows of warehouses from the end. The last time you saw guards was probably about several rows away. Yeah.
So I've got some ideas. I could shake down the guards and see if they've seen anyone around here. We could check the docks to see if my ship's been here. We could stake out this place in case that wasn't Lash, but I'm assuming that was. We've got options. Unless any of your superpowers can, see through time or space or something.
That would be really cool.
I kind of glance towards Peach for a sec, and then stop. So there's like just some scufflements, like scuffs on the ground that indicate that somebody was here recently.
Like looks like just disturbed dust and things like that.
Right, not too much going on.
Yeah.
All right, I'm reading an ability really quick.
What do you think, Captain? You with a sense for the urgency that your crew operates at and the way they plan things, what do you think? Do you think they've been here? You think this was them?
I can't get a good sense. And also, they're talking about a boss. I don't know who that is, and sort of, didn't expect Lash to do this, so I don't know what her style would be if she were to be leading.
Right. Okay. Because it seems to me like it might be, as best we can, worthwhile to stake this place out, or at least keep an eye here somehow.
What time of day is it?
Here it's probably mid-afternoon.
Okay. Well, this might be a stereotype, but wouldn't most spooky, scary pirate dealings maybe happen at night?
I mean, mine would, but because it fits with the aesthetic. But
we don't think that anyone has been here recently. It doesn't look like that from the the footprints. I don't exactly know how you guys would track people being here, but Mason, you didn't see anyone recently here, you think?
That's a good question. I'm going to look at the scuff marks maybe more specifically.
Well, no, that's
not scuff.
No, that's what I said. I mean, basically, looking at this, it was clear that somebody's been there recently, but you don't know exactly when.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So we could just today, like the timestamp on that comm message or whatever made it clear that today is when they would be meeting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we just hunker down till nighttime, kind of see. I don't know how to navigate a pirate city and find someone who probably doesn't want to be found amongst other people who don't want to help people find people. So I feel
I sort of want to go shake down a guard or two.
before we go shake down guards, just because that might draw some attention, I could just try just maybe one thing. And I'm gonna go try and do premonition. And since I can learn one random fact about a creature or location that is pertinent to a topic I designate, I want to try and see, like, if people were here and like if a deal already went down, basically.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah. So as you sort of you step into the middle of the warehouse and just kind of where Mason indicated that there were some disturbances in like the dust and stuff like that, you sort of step there, and as you start focusing, you begin to see as the room itself almost sort of darkens and then gets brighter again. And when it gets brighter, you can see around you a whole bunch of figures, ones that you don't recognize. You're not really picking up any, like, you can tell that there is something happening, a conversation happening between the figures. You're not hearing much sound. You can hear them, you can hear like voices, but they're coming to you muffled, as if from like very far away and through several walls. As you're watching, you can see a group of individuals that sort of are standing, that all look pretty ragtag, standing with another group of individuals that look like they're much more organized. You can see that they seem to have like they're in body armor of some sort, all pretty uniform. Doesn't look like not like a uniform, but they all like seem to be presenting some form of unity there. And another individual, pretty well dressed human, just as he smiles and nods and then sort of gestures, and you can see another figure. This one humanoid in appearance, but with sort of like long coat with a hood pulled up, difficult to see anything with sort of your shadowy premonition. And as you see, as they turn over their shoulder, presumably say something, and one of the other figures steps forward. A racted woman steps forward, holding what is definitely the artifact. As then you just sort of come back to yourself.
fuck.
I don't like the sound of that.
So I'm gonna say that happened probably in like 10 seconds. Peach was just standing there, like, just eyes glazed over for like 10 seconds in total silence.
Important clarification. Have we ever heard Peach swear before?
I don't know, probably not. She doesn't swear very often.
Pina full bodily reacts to that. Like, even though she swears all the time.
So yeah, so this we lost it. The deal already went down.
How do you know?
I saw it. I was able to kind of sense the imprints of people that were here earlier today, and yeah, the deal already went down. The artifact has been handed off. There were a bunch of shadowy figures. Wait, Lucas, did any of them look like the racted that we were looking for? The one
seemed to match the description. Yeah.
Okay.
There was the person with the hood, and then they called someone behind them, and then the Ractic came out with the artifact.
Okay, that's okay. Cool. I mean, not cool, but fair.
Understood. Yeah.
Do you know how long ago that was?
Could I tell how long ago it was, Lucas? Probably not really, right? Just like that it happened previously.
Yeah.
Can I tell from the light at all? I mean, I know it's shadowy, but
No, it's hard to say. You're pretty confident that this is a thing that definitely already happened, but that's about what you can tell here.
I don't know. I couldn't quite tell how long ago it was, but I think that, I mean, it had to have happened recently because they weren't that much ahead of us. So maybe they might still be on the planet.
And not much of today has happened yet, so I mean that's kind of our window.
And the
Yeah,
guards are on our way back.
I mean, if it was too long ago, I don't know if I'd be able to see it so quickly and easily. So I have to think that it was fairly recent.
Um,
So maybe we might want to revisit the questioning guards plan.
Questioning, right?
I
Right.
will say
Question.
that I think I will offer this to either one of you, Desiree or Mason. If you want, I will allow you to make I'll allow you to make an insight spend here, which is essentially just a like 3 intellect spend that then I will tell you something that is true that you know.
Do you happen to have any edge in intellect, Mason?
I sure do.
Perhaps this is
This is my one of my things.
seems like a you thing.
I will take that. I will take those intellects away
All right.
from my pool. And
Sounds good. All right, Mason. At this point, you're recalling, not only one of the first of all, recalling one of the most basic aspects of investigation, which is the best thing to do is to go is when you hit a dead end, is to go somewhere where people see things, and it is occurring to you at this moment that there is just such a place not far outside of the warehouse district from not far from your location. There is sort of a local watering hole that is a favorite of those who, given that it is perfectly placed in between the docks and the warehouse district. It is a place that is frequented by most people who pass through this place. So that is a thing that would occur to Mason at this point.
I also probably would have described like in detail everything that I could have gleaned from the encounter that happened here. So like the fact that the people who seem to have bought the artifact are heavily armored and all of that stuff.
I just thought a thought. Everyone follow me.
I follow.
I'll explain on the way.
I really like when he does that.
All right. And at that point is where we're going to go to our break because we are way late for our break.
Oh yeah.
So
Didn't even notice. Wow.
So we're going to go to break. We're going to get some more water, walk around, that whole thing.
Thank you to everyone who has been donating to the Tiltify link. That's amazing. We're already at 75% completion of our goal, and it's the first stream of the week, so...
Yeah. I don't have any words for that. But yes, thank you, everybody who has donated so far, and everybody who's hanging out and watching. We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so. We're going to try to really stick to that 10 minutes because we went pretty late. And we will be back for the second half of the stream.
We'll see you soon.
All right, see you in a bit, everybody. We are back, everybody, and back from break. Thank you, John Newman. I know you're not here, but thank you so much for that donation. Hello.
Hi all, I'm on episode 9, so I'm lucky to drop by during a break. Take care and all that. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
I love hearing your impressions as you're catching up on the VODs.
Yes.
Oh God, it's so fun. I love it.
Thank you, Sid. Thank you so much for the donation for popping in.
You. All right, we are back, and before we get back into the game, I do want to reiterate at this point that for those of you who may have popped in just now, we are currently raising money for Bail Fund, Bail Project. Henry, would you care to give us some brief talking points on that?
Yeah. Hey, listen. The Bail Project is it's a rotating bail fund, which means that they use oh God, what does it mean exactly? They use money to bail people out, and then when it comes back, it's like a fund that just keeps doing that. Yeah. And this is way less eloquent than when I did this the first time. Anyway, the way the cash bail system works, it has a disproportionately negative effect on people of low income, and it targets people of color in a disproportionate fashion. So the Bail Project aims to get people out, people who are presumed innocent. God damn it, sorry.
It's okay. We're all there today.
People, low income people who are presumed innocent. It bails them out so that the cycle of being in prison doesn't compound, like just shitty. It doesn't fucking the bail. The I swear I know the bail project keeps being imprisoned with bail from ruining your life.
Yes.
And it's especially important now because of the protests going on, people being jailed wrongfully or being in situations where they're held and not told what's going on. So it operates in a bunch of cities. There's other bail funds. You can, if you'd like to donate elsewhere, there are more local ones.
Yeah, and an important thing to note, which I don't think we said at the top of the stream, is that the way that the bail project works is that they sort of operate around the country, but that's how our donations are going to be donated through, like, sort of for like general usage. But they do have a thing so that if you would rather donate to a specific area, they do have a place through their own website that you can contribute donations to specify regions or areas or cities that you would prefer. So if you would rather do that, you can do that too. So but just so that everybody is aware, the funds that we raise with this are going sort of to general, like the general fund essentially.
Also, important to note off of what Henry said earlier, that right now, due to the protests, is extremely important. There are a lot of people who are needing help right now, but it's also extremely important to keep people out of jails and prisons right now because of COVID.
Yes.
Bringing more people into an enclosed space is putting more people who are imprisoned at risk. So it is more important than ever to be donating to bail funds on multiple accounts. So thank you very, very much for everyone who has been donating so far.
Oh,
on your own time or here.
Phantos80 just put a link with a whole bunch of bail funds in the chat.
Yes.
Thank you so
much.
There's
many.
Thank you.
Also, the bail project I think that their long-term objective is to replace the cash bail system with like more of a community support-based structure. So long-term goals. I'm sorry I bungled that up so bad, everybody.
It's okay.
We're overwhelmed by hitting $400.
There's a lot going through my head.
Yeah. Okay. So, we're gonna jump back in and go through the rest of the stream. We'll talk about this more at the end. All right. So, when we left off, Henry's just enacting scenes from The Grudge over there. Just like...
I'm sorry, but that's the way to fix it when it gets blurry.
Yeah.
Oh, you're Monte for a second.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. So.
I love watching that too.
Yeah.
I never see it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, when we left off, the crew of Awakener had landed in Marauder's Landing, a pirate city on a planet with many names, depending on who you ask, searching for this artifact. So, when we left off, I think Mason had suggested a local watering hole where they might have information, might find somebody who knows something or somebody who knows somebody. So we'll pick up right there as Mason finishes sort of explaining, has finished explaining his thought process, with you arriving at a place called simply Moe's.
Descriptive.
MO''S.
Yes, amazing.
That's it. That's the only thing on the sign. And it is, and speaking of the sign, it is pretty much just a sheet of metal that is like riveted to the building and with just like poorly painted Moe's with like paint drips that are coming down off of it.
Perfect.
I'm sure this is going to be delightful.
Moe's looks too.
Yeah. As there are a lot of people here, inside and out. You can see, you can hear the crowds around you, as you step in. And you guys let me know if the volumes aren't great, but I think it's probably okay.
I think it's okay.
Okay, cool. So stepping into the place, you can see there's a rowdy bunch here already. It's mid-afternoon, but that seems to matter not at all to the clientele, as there are. If you thought walking through the streets was difficult, Moe's is a whole different thing. It is packed. The concept of personal space has completely abandoned this place. It is jam-packed. Only in small places in certain areas, can you occasionally wend through sort of like in these little eddies of the crowd as people pass through. There's people laughing and carrying on. You can hear quite a few groups of people who are just arguing loudly, but in a way that doesn't. It indicates that they seem. It's like. It's like they're happy arguing. They're arguing like they're very pleased to be in the midst of some sort of confrontation. It's a pastime more than anything. It's a rough crowd. They are just at a glance. Even if you didn't know ahead of time, looking at them, you could tell that there is a healthy mix of pirates, outlaws, scoundrels, and smugglers. They are a rough-looking bunch.
Oh my god. Okay, if this is this is so stupid. But as we're walking in, if we're trying to like get to the bar, if we have a location we're trying to get to specifically, as we're going, Venus gonna be like, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, as we're going through, I'm gonna use fast talk. Which a creature who isn't hostile to you can convince to take one reasonable action in the next round.
Oh my god.
Excuse me, pardon me. It's my reasonable action.
You just have to get them before Desiree gets them and starts shoving them out of the way, because that's gonna make them hostile.
It's a little bit of both. Like on one side of the group, there's Bina, who's just like, excuse me, pardon me, and people like looking at me like, oh yeah, no problem. And then on the other side, Desiree, like, get the hell out of the way, just shove. But between the two of you, you're able to sort of just create a path up to the bar, where you can see a racted bartender who is currently like with one pair of arms sort of wiping down a glass, with the other's arms are just sort of like reaching about, like filling other glasses and setting onto the counter. As
Bina kind of watches and kind of will like lean over to Peach and be like, well, if a pilot doesn't work out, I guess maybe I could use my talents as a bartender, huh?
That'd be pretty cool.
She get good at bartending. Do we have a bar on the ship? We could get one. I could.
At this point,
make mixed drinks in the
you
kitchen.
can see the bartender's many-eyed gaze sort of fall on you, and you watch his mandibles twitch as he looks at you and says, "You gonna order something?"
Rum. All around.
And you just watch his limbs begin moving, just sort of a flurry of limbs that begin.
If you said that, he's just about to order like a night, try to order a cocktail or something.
Yeah, a flurry of limbs begin filling glasses as they like one by one get slid down the. It's like watching a one-man assembly line, just sort of, and then sliding them down the bar towards you.
How many arms?
There would be 6 in total.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this a system where it's like coins, or is it like a virtual thing?
Here it's coins.
All right,
Doubloons.
I slide after they slide up. I will slide the coins back his way.
Yeah.
With a little extra as a tip.
All of the arms just sort of clamp down on the coins, sweep them away into various pockets, and then
replace them with drinks.
yeah, just and then he immediately turns away and just begins serving somebody else. He turns away and says, "Yeah, you," and just goes on. Like,
I turn to Peach and I go, "You're the friendly one, right?"
Yeah.
Do they respond well to friendly here?
I've heard of and Mason, tell me if this is accurate. I've heard of a sort of a good cop, bad cop routine. Is that accurate?
I don't think they like cops here.
Right. Oh, obviously not right. But sort of, you got Pinky over here, acting all sweet, and then you got me, rough and tumble, get him to talk one way or the other.
Yeah.
But they respond better to threats than you think. Like if I start talking, trying to get some information really nice, will that turn them off?
I don't know. People is people, right?
At this point, Bina, you feel it before you see it. You feel a sudden surge of anxiety from somewhere nearby.
I need eyes on that.
Yeah,
immediately.
as you turn, milliseconds behind the feeling. Your head immediately snaps over to where you can see there is a place where the crowd has surged and is pushing, and you can see like they seem to be pushing away from like an area. Glancing over in that direction, Bina can't really
She's
see.
gonna have to like kneel. She's gonna like kneel up on the bar stool
Yeah.
or something. Like
Looking over, those of you now, first of all, firstly alerted by Bina, and then immediately after, like feeling the push of the crowd as people struggle to get away from that location. Glancing over the crowd, you can see a group of individuals that appear to be confronting two other individuals. One of whom is the most obvious, which is a Lumnian man who is just sort of standing towering above most everybody else.
it's been a while since we've met a Lumnian.
Yeah.
Do you want to inform
So-
everyone who a Lumnian is?
Yeah, Lumnians are large humanoid species that stand on average around 8 feet tall. They are mostly humanoid features. They are completely hairless with like cranial ridges, as well as just sort of ridges along like cheekbones and along some of the outer arm and that sort of places. They are, as a culture, generally pacifistic.
Individually.
Who knows? But as you're glancing over, you can see in the shadow of the Lumnian another figure, much smaller of stature. You can see an Orzai, a small Orzai man, just sort of with all four hands up in the air, just saying. And you can hear just sort of floating over the crowd, be like, all right, gents, there's no need to do this ugliness here. As you're just sort of watching, the
Ezra's going up to them, going against the crowd. This is a bar fight. I'm getting in on this.
the individual at the front of the group that is confronting them is a Keldro man who's just sort of standing, basically wearing like a tactical vest, shirtless except for a tactical vest, and just sort of like loose trousers. Who's just sort of standing there, just rippling with muscle. Every bit the armed thug, just sort of standing, just staring down at the Orzai man, who is just sort of smiling sheepishly, clearly trying to defuse the situation.
Oh, then I kind of want to get over that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get in the middle, but Venus can kind of start skirting away around the crowd.
Yeah.
crowd.
The Keldro man looks over, says, "You had your chance." Says, "So, tell me, I'm going to ask you one last time, what happened to the shipment?" And he says, "Right, the shipment. Right. Ruck, tell the nice man what happened to the shipment." And you see the Lumnian looks down at him and looks back up, says, "We lost it."
Lucas, the Keldro man, that's not my master gunner, right?
Nope.
Cool.
No, you've never seen any of these people before. Although,
Just wanna
now
make
that
sure.
you're getting closer, getting a look at them, they look like they might be... You recognize them as being members of sort of one of the local self-appointed enforcement gangs.
Good.
Gotcha.
I want to. So is this Lumnian tall for Lumnian or average Lumnian height?
Pretty much average Lumnian height. Yeah.
Average. So like 8. Everyone needs to remember, Bina is 5 feet tall. Bina is very tall for an Orzai. How tall is this Orzai?
Yeah, this Orzai is shorter than Bina. He is pretty average height for an Orzai. He's barely more than 4.5 feet tall. Like he is, yeah. He is like
I
maybe.
just want to get this visual for everyone.
Yeah, he might be
about
about
half the height of this Lumnian.
Yeah, he's probably closer to the 4 end than the half side.
Love
Yeah,
guys.
just sort of dressed in just like a sleeveless pilot's jacket. As he just sort of steps back, says, "All right, well, you heard him. I mean, we lost it. It's I'm sorry. Did you say we lost it? That's not what I told you what we were gonna." And he says, "Oh, right. I forgot. Sorry." And he says, no, it's fine. We'll just, turns to his, right, so we lost the shipment. But it's actually a really, really funny story about that, actually. And you, you see as he glances over and catches your eye, Bina, and he just sort of winks and then just kind of glances back. And you watch, all of a sudden, you're not sure where they came from. Every single one of his hands has a pistol and it pointed in a different direction.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I wasn't sure where this was going, but I'm delighted this is the direction it took.
Oh gosh, Thanatos, thank you for the $20. Holy crap!
Thank you.
you.
420. Thank you.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh! All right.
Time to roll all around.
Lucas, sorry to bother you,
Uh-huh.
but can you turn the ambient sound down a tiny bit
Mhm.
on our end, if possible?
Yep. Better? Is that better right there?
For me,
Okay,
yeah, it was
cool.
just barely.
It was starting to grate on me too a little bit.
overwhelming. Thank you.
Okay, so you watch as he says, "All right now, there's no need for anything nasty to go down. We'll just, how about we just call this one even?" And every single one of the thugs have also like drawn weapons, and now everybody, where before they were pushing back in anticipation of like something going down, now people are like bailing out of this place. This is not what they expected.
Hours. I'm drawing my cutlass.
I want to do something stupid.
Yes, please.
We're not a fan of this. We are on a mission. We have things to do. This is going to just derail us, and we have an artifact to find. So Venus gonna kind of like, so she's kind of made her way, I'm hoping, off like in the crowd, but near between the two of them. How many people have drawn weapons at this point?
At this point, the Orzai has drawn 4 pistols, has them each trained on a different person. The thugs, there's about 6 of them, and all of them have also drawn weapons. A couple of them are not firearms. They are like one of them looks to be like a stun baton. The other one is probably just a metal pipe. And they're just sort of squaring up right now.
Venus just gonna say, she's gonna peek her head up between whoever's like next to her, like, but what if we didn't? Huh? How about we have a drink? And I'm gonna use fast talk. I will spend for grand scale, and I'm assuming I'll have to roll, but none of them are hostile towards me specifically, which means I can use this ability.
Yeah.
Probably.
Probably. I'll allow it. That makes sense to
Would
me.
like to de-escalate is the action I would like them to take.
Okay, so to get all of them, I'm gonna call this. Actually, you don't actually have to spend for that. You could just focus on who is the one who's clearly the leader if you wanted to, or you could try to get all of them if you wanted to. That's up to you.
2 leaders, the Orzai and then whoever is the Keldro.
Yeah.
I'll do both of them.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So then I'll have that be an initial spend of 2.
Cool.
And that's on top of the cost for the.
Yes.
Okay. So initial spend of 2. The difficulty on this one is going to be. Yeah, intellect roll difficulty. Actually, I'm not entirely sure you're gonna need to roll for this one. Maybe you will. It's the difficulty on this one is gonna be 3.
Ooh, yeah. Social interactions, pleasant or otherwise.
This counts.
That or otherwise is always my
It's
favorite.
my favorite. Sensing emotions, dispositions. Because I don't know. You tell me if that's useful here, because this is about de-escalating emotions. But that's your call.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Did you say it was a 3?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get down to a 1 and I'll roll.
All right. 3 or
I
better.
hope I'll. I don't want this to fail. 8.
All right. You step out as everybody's kind of going away from this. You push your way through some people.
It's kind of like 2 arms up because the 2 of them are down.
Yeah. And you watch
Hey.
as the Orzai
guy.
looks over at you, and he looks between you and the Keldro, and he just says, "Well, what do you say?" The Keldro just sort of he looks at you and looks back at him and just says, he takes his rifle and just sort of shoulders it, and he says, "This isn't over." He turns and like just starts walking. He says, "Let's go," and the others kind of glance between. A few of them a little bit confused, kind of glance at the rest of you. Now very clearly the only people standing still around. They kind of glance at you, appear to like sort of maybe you can almost see their brains like working, kind of rationalizing their leader's decision, and then they turn and follow.
To an outside perspective, the most like ineffectual mediating like probably they've ever seen, but then somehow it worked.
Yeah.
I'd like to imagine that like I was like the rest of us were watching from the bar as you just like peeked in between these 2 people.
Hey guy.
And it's just like
He's like, we have shit to do. This
like,
cannot.
They
time.
basically they see Bina come out, say just like a few words of like de-escalation, glance like their leader says let's go. They're like, what? They look, and what they see is Bina. They see Mason, who's just casually putting a pistol on the on the bar, and like and Desiree with cutlass unsheathed, just sort of looking like looking at all of them with like brimming for
and
a
it's
fight.
kind of despondent now, actually. now that there's not
Yeah.
gonna be a fight.
We'll
Like,
get you a fight later.
And then
we don't have time right now.
They walk away.
no one
I
wants
think
to.
as not to them, but like to the people in the vicinity. When he turns and leaves, she's gonna go, "Oh, no drink," and then sees him go. And then we'll wave at his entourage.
Yeah.
As they go.
They all leave, and
I hope they all assume she has a reputation.
yeah. The
all
the
terrified.
Orzai looks at you, looks at them, and just like holsters all 4 of his pistols and turns. He says, "Well, that was sure some negotiating. I've never seen him back down from anything. That," he says, "that alone is enough to well, allow me to buy you a drink." At which point, the Lemnian nudges him. He looks at, "What? Oh, right. It's gonna have to be an IOU."
You can
Actually-
just drink mine. I haven't touched it yet.
I was going to say you might be interested in paying her in information if you have it.
That too.
I suppose we could probably do something like that. Sorry, so rude of me. And he like, very exaggerated, like sort of, 4-armed bow.
He's mean.
Yeah, he
He's
just,
the Orzai mean.
and he says, "Orioto, at your service." And he says, "And this big lug right here is Ruck." The Lemnian looks at
Orioto?
yeah, Orioto.
Ori Odo.
He,
Two names.
Yep.
Okay.
Orzai address themselves and each other in first and last names.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Ruck just turns and looks at all of you and just goes, "Hello."
At this point, I probably would have come over.
Yeah.
Desiree the Dancing Blade, Siren of the Astral Sea, Void Scourge Pleasure.
She says that all every time.
Ori looks up at you and says, "You're kidding me."
Yes!
I see my reputation precedes me.
Indeed it does. Indeed it does. Well, if you had told me this morning that I was gonna watch Cress walk away from a fight and meet the Siren of the Astral Sea, well, I would have told you that I would like a little bit of whatever it is you're consuming, because
Is he bullshitting?
Huh?
Does
Oh
he
no,
know who
he's
she is?
definitely like you can definitely feel that he is in good spirits and in awe at the
Okay.
moment.
All right.
Just-
See, I told you I was famous.
He seems like a grifter, so I wasn't sure if he was just like, I will take this name and run
absolutely.
with it. Yeah.
Absolutely. He says, "Well, it he glances around at that's suddenly like more or less significantly emptied bars. He looks around and says, "Looks like some tables just opened up. If you wouldn't mind taking a seat."
And Bina will kind of like wave to everybody. Kind of.
All right.
I'm gonna see whose glass is empty among our crew and pour some of my rum into their glass. I just probably like Mason and Desiree, probably the lowest.
Bina will
Yep.
actually Bina will go grab her cup that she has not touched and she'll put it between the two of them as though you choose. Like one of you can have it because Bina's not gonna have it.
Actually, is the bartender still here?
Oh yeah, the bartender
Oh,
is
darn.
currently
Ain't going anywhere.
glaring at all of you, and just sort of like clearly unhappy that whatever just happened. Clearly, like it's pretty obvious to you that he blames you for the sudden loss of a bunch of customers. But
I saw property destruction likely, sir.
I don't think
So
this guy really cares about property destruction.
yeah, he's just
I'll just go over and ask him for a bottle.
he looks at you, just he doesn't answer. He just stares at you and doesn't make a move.
I flip him some coin.
Yeah, he catches it and immediately pulls up a bottle, pushes it over towards
Thank
you, and then begins to begins to very tersely begin scrubbing three cups at once,
at once.
just sort of watching, like glaring at you, like mandibles just sort of quivering and like just sort of in irritation as he just turns and faces the other direction.
Visibly uncomfortable in this place, in this situation, Olam, as like Bina's going to get her drink or whatever, Olam kind of like pads over and he's like, listen, I'm sure you understand this, but we got to be moving quickly here. We don't have much time. If these people don't have the information we need, we should be out of here. Right.
Big agree.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. That's all.
That's why I wanted to de-escalate it, because if we had to get information out of anybody here and there was a big fight happening, we wouldn't have got anything. So talk to him. I don't know if the barkeep's gonna talk to us anymore. So hopefully he's got some insight. And then she's gonna go.
Yeah, you turn and immediately are face to face with Ori. He goes, "What are we whispering about?"
I got you a drink. And she's just gonna set it, and then we'll go.
Much obliged. And he just turns and sits.
She'll
seats
walk
himself
over and she'll be like, "We're saying we've got places to be. So if you don't have the information we're looking for, we gotta go."
Well, that
And
seems
so she'll sit down with
that seems like a reasonable course of action. He says, "Well, I never drink with strangers." At which point Ruck just says, "You always drink with strangers." Well, I mean, I at least make an attempt at meeting some fine new companions.
As Razor like put her feet up on the table and sitting with the bottle.
The dancing blade, of course, needs no introduction.
Of course.
Bina's going to, I think, we'll offer 2 right hands. I know the other one is still tucked under, but we'll offer 2 right hands for his 2 left hands
Yeah.
to shake. Like, Bina Oba.
Well, it's good to meet you. I've got to say, it has been quite some time since I've seen another Orzai, so this is quite a treat. And he kind of glances around, looks over at Mason.
Mason.
Mysterious fellow. I like him.
Hi, I'm Olam.
Right. And he turns and looks at Peach.
Great to meet your acquaintance, Ori. My name's Peach.
Right. Well, as far as I'm concerned, we're all friends now. And he just takes a drink. Says, "So, what might you be wanting to know?"
Bina looks to the people who actually know how, like, what specifically we're looking for.
We are looking, actually, funny story. We are looking for my ship. I seem to have misplaced it. So if you've seen the Siren around, or if you've seen a Ragdid, I'm not sure if you're familiar with my quartermaster, Lash, sort of a red eye, likes to wear a jacket with a bunch of buttons down, center.
Possibly also if you've seen a lot of suspicious looking armored folks with kind of similar outfitted gear, kind of in a group, that also might be helpful.
Interesting. Funny you be mentioning that. Actually, we have been noticing a few folks like that around. They actually passed by right in front of here, not what would you say that was? 3 hours? Ruck nods. He says, and Ruck just says, "And now that you mention it, I do seem to remember seeing erected with a crew like that." sounds familiar. I actually
So-
saw them when I went back to the docks. They were getting on a ship, I think.
Damn it. Alright.
Uh,
The crew or the armored folk?
oh, the crew, the crew. Or he says, "Now that's very interesting. You see, that's very interesting. I might have maybe just out of a sense of curiosity and civic duty, civic responsibility, might have cased the group of armored individuals that you're mentioning.
Is that how you lost your supply?
That's
No,
delightful.
that was something unrelated. I don't really want to get into that right now. It's not really relevant. Anyway, no, I saw them. They were carrying some sort of case. Venturing a guess, not interested in getting into anyone's business or anything, but guessing that's what you're after?
That's what they're after.
Right, of course, you're after your ship, which, might I say, my condolences. Terrible thing, mutinies.
You know, mutiny is a sort of a harsh word. I wouldn't go spreading that around, and I
Right,
just
no, of
slide
course
him a
not.
couple coins.
I meant, disagreement about leadership practices.
There you go.
And he's
right.
like,
It's okay. He owes us. If we hear that got spread around, you know exactly where it started. And Bina goes back down to like she's, I don't know, writing notes or something.
she's got a point.
I do.
You know,
I do.
threat to him.
What?
That was
Bina's just a very honest person. She made it an observation.
He says, so, you're looking for this, whatever it is, that mysterious thing. You're lucky I didn't try to take it out from under them right then and there. Or I guess maybe that would make you unlucky, because then you would have it, because I would have it, and...
I think it would make you lucky that you didn't try to mess with them because we don't really know what they're dealing with, and it's all kind of bad stuff.
Well, you know, Rook here, well, he had a bit of a theory. He's the brains of this operation between us. I come up with the schemes, he finds a way of making them work. Anyway, Ruck, what was it you were telling me about those armored folk? Ruck leans in, he says, you all ever heard of the dealer's court?
Have we?
have we heard of it?
Nope.
No.
I wouldn't have heard.
I would say that Mason would have heard of it, but is just sort of one of those like rumors, like the kinds of like the boogeyman of the border worlds.
Mason does say, I've heard a rumor.
Says, well, the rumors that you've heard, they say things like that all of the different syndicates are actually controlled by this, shadow organization. A group that don't like people to know they exist. Word is they've got their hands in every kind of crime there is. If it happens out here, they know about it. Never seen any evidence of it myself, but heard enough stories from a few people I don't think have any good reason to be making up stories. Might be a connection there is what I thought.
What's the connection? These armored people, you think that they're part of the dealer's court, or they're bringing the object in the case there? Or?
Well, I never seen those people before, but they moved around this place like they owned it.
Question: do we have any footage of the mysterious chameleon individual that we fought on on the colony?
I think
Like
yes.
a photo.
You
I just want to see what his
You definitely
his
do
gear.
because Patch was reviewing it afterwards, so you definitely do
Okay.
have.
Okay, so I want to call to not call but
Yeah.
connect terminal
You
to
would just have it
pull up
able
an
to
image.
pull it. Yeah.
Okay. And I just want to like show
Mhm.
the armor, like the clothing
Yeah.
string. I was like, I just want to be like, did any of them look like this?
They both lean forward and look, and they look at each other, and Rex says, "No, nothing like that."
Okay, that's good. It's good news.
Well,
They didn't look corp, did they?
no. Ori just chuckles and he says, "Oh no, there's absolutely no way that any kind of corporate stooge would go blending in around these parts. They don't exactly do the whole blending in thing. Well, not here anyway."
I mean, for this they might. She kind of looks over at her crew.
So, the dealer's court. What exactly is that? What's the rumor to be?
Well, rumor about the dealer's court is that they pretty much control everything. That they're what's left of the original syndicates that ran the border worlds back before it all went to shite. That they've gotten smarter and they've decided that they're just going to stay in the shadows, controlling everything through proxies and shell corporations, things like that.
So they're kind of like the law in this place.
Well, the unlaw, let's say.
Of course.
They don't really seem too interested in governing much, if they exist. Not much in the way of people, say, but certainly in terms of all kinds of business opportunities, enterprises, and entrepreneurships.
I don't mean to be rude or to rush anybody here, but instead of being caught up in the intricacies of the politics of the underbelly here, maybe you could tell us which direction you think these armored folk were going, where they might have been heading to?
The two of them exchange a look that is nothing if not conspiratorial. And
What do I? Do I get anything from that?
you can sense that Ori is excited and Ruck is cautiously intrigued.
Okay. They want in.
Yeah. Ori turns and says, "Well, as it turns out, I might be able to help you with that. But there is a condition. And that is that we tell you what we might know, and you cut us in."
There's no cash prize at the end of this.
Oh, there is. It's not what you're looking for. Trust me, it's not going to affect you at all. But we have some ideas. Ruck, want to do the honors? Yeah, so it's possible there's an auction, high-end kind of thing, big business people coming in from all kinds of places, buying stuff they wouldn't necessarily be able to get other places. It's being hosted by one of the more prolific pirate gangs in the area, the Duraga gang. They
Oh.
they're a pretty nasty bunch, but if anybody is working directly for the dealer's court, it's them. They're an odd bunch. They have some weird ways of operating that don't really make them. It sets them apart from other pirates. Anyway, thinking that if there's anything going down with that, whatever it is you're looking for, and if the dealer's court is involved, it's probably going to be at that auction.
Oh, holy shit.
Oh my god.
Oh, holy shit.
What's happening?
Tells
500, you guys.
Tells donated $80.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we reached it already.
We hit our goal. Wow, we are gonna have to up that for the rest of the streams this week.
Guys,
my
there are 3
gosh.
streams this week. There are so many.
Holy crap! Hey, John, move the goal along. Let's go.
Oh, don't worry.
Thank
We'll
you
work
guys
on that.
so much
We'll
for
get
raising
it. Thank
money
you
for
so
the
much.
Bail project.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. All right. Okay.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
everybody. This is. I don't know. This is
Wow,
something.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
While we figure out how exactly to process this, we'll finish out the evening's game.
Yeah.
Do I think that my crew would be at this auction?
There's a really good chance that is
Okay.
the case. You've actually, you know what? I'll give you this. You've actually probably even attended some of the auctions that the some of the like these black market auctions that the Doraga gang has hosted in the past. In fact, you're the one who actually first suggested it to your crew, first started the practice of attending, because just on the basis of finding rare weapons or tech that you could use to further enhance your efforts. It's very likely that after, especially if they've made the sale of this artifact, that's very likely that's the next place they'll head.
Because they got money now.
They got money now. Yeah. So at the
Yeah.
very least, that's a pretty solid bet.
Mm-hmm. And what do I know, like, if there's anything notable about the Doraga gang, other than that they're shady?
You know that they are vicious, they are ruthless, and most importantly and most interestingly, they rarely seem to be all that interested in like their own profit. Most pirate gangs will loot and pillage and then fuck off somewhere. The Doraga gang will host events. They host events like auctions and things like that. They will sell shit back to people, often selling shit back to the same people they stole it from.
Nice.
With no pretenses to the contrary. They very blatantly do this. They are...
Our move.
Yeah, it's basically like... Yeah, they are... They also are much better equipped than almost any other pirate gang anywhere, which is what in part has given rise to the rumors that they are like backed by some sort of organization. But yeah.
So we could just theoretically walk in and buy the artifact.
We could.
I see
But-
a certain problem with that.
That's not fun.
Exactly. Plus, we've already got a plan. We just need a few extra hands, so to speak.
Where have I heard this before? I kind of like look at the other crew members.
Well, it's up to you to decide. What you're looking for is more than likely there. It's at least a fair enough bet, and, well, we've got a plan. The locations of these auctions are always secret, except for those who have their ways of finding out, or those on the guest list. And, we just happen to know where it is. So, what do you say?
How much do you want of the cut?
Oh, you don't have to worry about that. We're after something very specific.
Yeah, well, there's no way to. I don't think there's a way to split up what we're looking for. So
That's fine. Unless you're particularly interested in old technology from the Racted Armada, scavenged from the Racted Armada, I doubt we're looking for the same things.
It's very much not what we're looking for.
I thought not. So, what do you say, partners? And he puts out both sets of right hands.
Which one of you is the captain?
Says, we prefer to think of ourselves as more of a partnership.
Right,
Partners.
right.
Vina kind of like slowly like is like reaching across the table and like looking at everyone for anyone to stop her objections.
Mason does the classic.
Yeah, I just got to.
Yeah, Desiree like stopped herself from reaching back. She's like, "This is not It's not my crew. It's not
take
my
another-
decision to make.
I'll take one of the hands.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's got 4, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what
I was gonna
thinking.
do an Orzai or an Orzai thing, but yeah,
Yeah.
you don't take 2 of them and one of them and 2 of her top hands, and you can take the bottom one.
All right.
I'll take one of 3.
Yeah. He sits back and clasps all 4 hands behind his head. He says, "Well, that's great."
What's his? I'll say just for
Mhm.
your benefit as Jim playing an Orzai, Vienna is intrigued,
Mhm.
and that's like fully. This entire interaction has been like that has been laced in with what she's been saying. How's
Yeah.
he right now?
Oh, he is elated.
Good. Okay. We're communicating Orzai to Orzai now. This
Yeah.
is very exciting to
Yeah.
me.
He just kind of he smiles at you and just gives you another wink and is just you can feel that like elation just sort of going off. He turns to Ruck and says, "What did I tell you? I told you today was going to be our lucky day." And he says, "Actually, what you told me was we should go get a drink, but okay."
It's good advice.
Same thing, right?
I mean, you did get there.
That's right.
So
We
You don't
did.
have a ship.
No. Ruck turns and just says, "We lost it."
I know
So
the feeling.
you guys seem to like lose things pretty often.
Oh, don't worry. They were related. The 2 incidents, they were.
Okay. That's not reassuring, but thank you.
Right, so, you have a ship, right? Because otherwise this is going to be a very short-lived plan.
Where do we have to go?
Well, I've got the coordinates. We'll come with you.
How far is it?
That was more the question. Yeah.
Not terribly far. I do have a question for you, though. How's
I might have an
your
answer.
upscale wardrobe?
Oh.
I mean, I'm dressed to the nines.
We can always go. Can we go shopping around here anywhere? You seem like I feel like there'd be some.
You have the connections.
Oh, not to worry. That's why I asked. I know a few places and a few people. A few of them owe me favors, and I actually owe a few of them some money. But that's not really important. We won't go to them.
Are we finally gonna get to go clothes shopping?
Last time we went shopping, it was terrifying, and we spent half an episode on it. At least this is a little bit more joyful, hopefully.
I mean, I don't imagine there would be like.
The idea of going clothes shopping is like so like she's elated.
Don't imagine there would be upscale boutiques on this planet, right?
Oh no,
Or are
absolutely
there?
not. Not even close.
Cool. We have to go somewhere else for that.
Clothes, right?
Yeah, it just He says, "So, I think if we're done here, we can start making our way out, and I'll
Can I just get a read on this guy? Like,
I trust him implicitly.
ambushed. Like, what's his deal? Can I just get a quick read on him for honesty
Sure.
purposes?
How do you want to do that? Do you want to roll for it, or do you want an insight spend?
I'll encourage you if you roll for it.
I haven't done nothing today from any pool, so I'm gonna do an insight spend.
Okay, cool. So go ahead and mark off your 3 eaten by edge for whatever with reductions for edge.
1 point.
Cool. So you are quite certain that whatever he is interested in, it is his primary goal at the moment. And currently, you are very certain that he believes fully that you are his way of getting there. Like he's very clearly excited about this partnership. And judging by the way that he, prior to agreeing, you could see that he was on the verge of like just spilling it all to you even before you agreed. You're guessing that he's probably he may not be an honest individual, but he's at least telling you the truth.
Okay, cool. So basically, what kind of we thought. So
Yeah.
It's like I feel like his interactions are similarly to if Bina decided to do crime. This would be kind of the interactions you would be having.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let's do it. I'm enthused, and I'll withhold some things, but I'll tell you what I got. We can get where I need to go. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, I think for like at one moment it crosses Peach's mind that like, oh no, this guy can read emotions like Bina, and that kind of gives her a second of panic.
Yeah.
Nobody can read emotions like Bina, but yeah, you can sense your emotions. So just so you're all aware.
Yeah. At that, he like turns and looks at you, looks directly at you. That quick flash of panic. He looks at you and says, "Oh, don't worry. We've got it all planned out."
I cannot wait to hear that plan.
So,
Get ready to hang out with an Orzai who's gonna comment on your emotions. Bina's mostly respectful on that front.
so, where's your ship?
Let's go.
Right this way.
You leave the bar to more
Bina will leave some credits on the table.
Yeah,
and
to-
kind of like wave at the.
yeah to more sort of glares, many-eyed glares from the bartender who just sort of watches you go, and then as soon as you are out of the doors, he like shuffles over, collects the coins off the table, and just sort of looks around, just sort of as at a few of the people who'd started sort of like pushing forward,
Filtering back in.
like pushing
Yeah.
forward, just sort of, and they just. And he's like sweeps them off the table and just goes back behind the bar. You proceed continuing to make your way through the streets.
I'm gonna give an update to the crew. We have
Two more pirates.
surprise, more stragglers.
I
In those words exactly.
Yeah.
I want to be like walking alongside Peach or something and muttering and like kind of kicking my foot against the ground. I'm like, I thought I was gonna spend some time with that professor for this one.
Oh, buddy.
We'll get back to him. I mean, we still have time to have you ask him some questions.
I hope so. Who knows where this will go?
You really miss being in class, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes. This is great too. I kind of like step away.
Yeah, nothing like good old life and death every day to keep you energized.
Say it does that. It definitely does that.
We're just gonna walk in. I feel like out of this entire group of people, Olim and Peach have been made the most uncomfortable by being around pirates.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You're walking down this as you're walking back towards the docks. Ori is saying, is like animatedly
Just
talking.
fully chattering
Yeah.
in front of the two Orzai.
Yeah,
Like,
he says, no, honestly, I'm very excited about all of this. I mean, even if we weren't going to be working together, I'm very excited to be seeing your ship. We may have been a tiny little bit stranded here for about a week or so, something like that.
I know the feeling.
It's,
that doesn't somehow that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
It'll be fine. We
no,
can drop
it's,
you off somewhere afterwards as long as you don't, I don't know, cross us or something.
Right.
So keep that in mind. We are your ride. And then she's gonna be like, and here we are. She's gonna point up.
He looks up and says, well, now that's a ship. Well, says, how long have you been here?
Few minutes.
I'm looking at everyone like
Probably
an
like
hour or two.
yeah. He says, well, I am very surprised. It is still mostly intact and hasn't been just scrapped yet. Looking like that.
We have crew inside still. And she's
I
gonna-
know. I figured. Doesn't usually matter. This is great. And he just like walks
As
past.
we walk up, she'll terminal let us in and be like, I don't know if you have sticky fingers, but watch them. And then she'll let us in.
He turns and looks at you, and you actually feel like genuine hurt from him as he just sort of looks and says, I would never.
You need to understand, we're strangers. Bina is not like malicious in
Yeah.
any way. She's very, very amicable as
Yeah.
all of her interactions with him have been. Like, you need to understand, we've been through a lot recently. And also you're very new. And then we'll walk in.
No, of course it makes perfect sense to be cautious around these parts. I hear, well, there's some pretty unscrupulous types around here.
You don't say.
Oh, I
I
do.
haven't heard that one yet.
Well, pray you don't, because, well, there's worse around here than Cress and his thugs. Not much,
Like
but
what?
you know.
We'll walk in, and I'm sure some of the crew are around.
Yeah.
And Nabina will just be like, "All right, Odo, Ruck, hello." They'll be joining us. We have a new lead, and then she's gonna go up to the. She's gonna bring him over to a terminal or up to the bridge if we
Yeah.
need to get the coordinates.
Jade is.
Rock like head on anything.
Yeah. Jade is in the cockpit with Alma as you enter, and Jade like turns and looks up at them and says, "Oh, hi."
All right, Odo, Jade, Alma. They're gonna get us to where hopefully the artifact is.
Right. He looks. He says, "Are you a pirate too?" He says,
Nabina looks in and is like, like I would also like to.
"Yeah."
answer that question.
He claps two hands on one on either on each of Jade's shoulders. He just kind of just chuckling heartily as he just says, "Oh no, I'm not a pirate. We're smugglers, con men. You know, the usual, the sort of mix of ne'er-do-wells." So,
Nabina just will kind of like nod.
this the console right over here? Excellent. He says, "Lass," and he as Alma just sort of looks at him and looks over, like leans back and looks over his like bent form at Bina and just like. He says, "There we are. Right. You know what to do with those coordinates, yeah?" And she looks. She says, "Go to them." Says, "That's precise. That's precisely it." And he sits down in one of the seats and just sort of like drums all of his fingers on the armrests as he looks around. Just, it's good to be on a ship again.
Yeah, Bina will take the other seat as co-pilot if Alma's in pilot seat, and we'll.
All right. So, as you take off, you see like the coordinates get put in, and you begin to break atmosphere, and just you hear a voice crackle in over the comms, just "Come again."
Oh God.
Real quick, Olam is like in the commons like storage room or something, and sees like a bottle of rum and like a shot glass sitting on a table, and like looks around and pours a little bit and just shoots it. And is like, puts the bottle back down and corks it.
Amazing.
Where the hell did my rum go?
You just brought in a new bottle.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to finish it very soon.
Fair.
Mason just pulls out his flask.
You guys get to deal with 2 ores.
So as you break atmosphere and shoot out towards the jump point, you you finish inputting the coordinates to the FTL drives, and Alma glances up. She says, "All right, everything's revved up and ready to go."
Do it.
She pushes the levers forward as you feel that jolt as the G-forces kick in momentarily before your ship is flung into FTL, and that is where we are going to pick up next week.
Oh, wow.
Is that Alma's first time flying in person?
Yes, I think
She
so.
flew before, yay!
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Then in that scene, then there is just full delight on Vina.
Yes.
What's the ETA on that? Sorry, we're not in game anymore, but what's the our ETA?
Oh,
How long
just
of
with a quick glance. Actually, I'll tell you what, because it makes more sense this way. We'll sort of retcon this just a little bit, and say that basically, in order to, you need to do a little bit of preparation, and because like the auction's not for a couple of days, so you need to do some preparation. So for the sake of this, we'll say that when you jumped to FTL, you went back to Derilia 3. Since
Oh yes,
yeah, to
okay.
update the professor and all that sort of stuff. So yeah,
Cool, perfect.
all right. So
Willem can get a lecture in.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Olin can.
Finally, I just want to dive back into academia.
Give
then
Olm some
realize-
quality time with the professor.
Yeah, and then realize I'm happy I left. Or we'll see.
We'll see. All right, everybody. So we we hit our goal tonight.
Yeah, you guys.
Ah.
Holy shit. There was a second I thought I was gonna start crying and scream. So it's
Yeah.
just
Me too. Me
we-
too.
Yeah.
Yep.
We
Oh
definitely
my
hit our
gosh.
goal. So there's that.
Y'all, there are 2 more streams left this week.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing Ramblemancy. We're not entirely sure what we're going to be doing with Ramblemancy. Very likely we won't know what we're doing until we're actually there. So, but we're going to be doing Ramblemancy on Friday.
Improvmancy.
Improvmancy. Yeah, we're going to be doing something. Not sure what yet, but we're going to be doing that Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific, where we are going to be continuing the fundraiser. And then again on Saturday, which we haven't really before today, we haven't really done a lot of talking about this, but on Saturday at noon Pacific, we are going to be running a long I hesitate to say 6-hour stream, but I will call it that because saying 6-hour, but maybe it'll be longer, who fucking knows? It doesn't quite roll off the tongue. So it'll be a 6-hour stream, which will technically be 2 streams separated by a brief break in the middle. There will be a whole bunch of different things happening that day. There are some earlier segments where we're going to be doing a couple things, and then later segments where like there'll be a bunch of fun stuff happening. But you can expect to see actually all of the people right here at some point during the day are going to make an appearance. Brita Donnan is going to be around for a bit, and yeah, so there's going to be a bunch of people around, and we may even.
John.
That's right. We're gonna get a
John camera.
Yeah, that's
John
our
on
our very
camera.
own resident bard. They're gonna be hanging out. Yep. John and Bree are gonna be hanging out on stream, drawing and limericking for donations. So
Yeah, y'all beat the fundraising stream was on
Yeah,
Saturday,
this
and
isn't
we're
even the
already we're
fundraising
starting
stream,
at
this
100. Yeah.
this wasn't even the
Crazy.
the main event. This was like, wow, okay.
Oh.
The
So
appetizer.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
oh gosh. All right.
This was like sitting at the bar waiting for your table.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the bread.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So
Holy moly.
so we'll be continuing this fundraiser through, I think the final day is Sunday. So even when we're not streaming, you can still donate. That link will be up in various places. We will make sure that it is in a place you can find it. So, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of good stuff happening. A lot of it is TBD, but we'll get there.
Keep you posted.
We'll keep you
Fun
posted,
surprise.
yes.
Instead of TBD, it's just you'll get surprised and it'll be delightful.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we'll do one more time. Just our quick talking points for what we are raising money for. Henry,
Okay,
it's
but
the
third
redemption
time's-
round.
third time's the oh, don't say that. You're setting it up. Okay, so the Bail Project works to fight against. I'm just gonna try to say verbatim what it says in the website
All
this
right.
time.
Yes.
It works to fight against the economic and racial disparities of cash bail, which disproportionately targets low income folks and people of color, and keeps them incarcerated when they could be out working, which pretty much reinforces a cycle of poverty and fucks up people's lives. And now with the protests going on, there's like a huge influx of people in prisons. So getting them out is good for them. And as Caitlin mentioned before, COVID-19 still exists, and prisons are an especially dangerous place in that context. So bail funds like the Bail Project and other ones keep people's lives going, keep people safer and out of prison. And they're especially important in a time like this where civil disobedience is happening all over the country for the cause of equality to make and against police brutality and for Black lives.
To be blunt, people are being put in jail for absolutely no reason.
Yes,
So
exactly.
if you can't
And-
go out and protest, it's amazing if you have the monetary means to help get people back out and fighting for the rights of our communities.
Right. And the Bail Project also wants to do away with cash bail as a system and replace it with a community support thing, giving people rides to court dates and reminding them about that stuff, just to make it work better, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we think it's a worthwhile project to donate to out of a bunch of other worthy ones too, but this is the one we picked.
Yeah, absolutely. We have also had, just as a note, other places that we've been other charities that we've been promoting in chat. Those links have been happening periodically. Other places that are definitely. I mean, it's not an exhaustive list by any means, but there are so many places that are helpful and could use the help. So if you
Look locally. If you
Yes.
ever are concerned, look locally
Mhm.
first.
Absolutely. There are so many resources out there to find out where your help is needed, and there is no excuse for not helping. So in some way or another, even if it's just promoting stuff, even if it's just promoting these organizations and charities.
Check out this link. I hope it works. This is one that it's like a master list of
Yes,
ways
yes,
to
yes,
help.
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sign petitions.
Yeah. I was looking for that earlier to make a command for, but I couldn't find it. So thank you.
I've added it to my favorites. So
Yeah,
Excellent.
full of varying ways to help, from monetarily to supporting
Yes.
to petitions to ways to call templates, and I think they have like templates of things to say to call your representatives and stuff. Like, there's even right now there are even streams that are generating revenue just from watches. So like you're raising money without spending money
Yeah.
if you don't have the means to. So you can check into that
Right.
out on those. I think there were a bunch of actually K-pop fans who were talking about the best way to gain revenue for a video. So like seek that out. Like it's like a weird thing where like you'll have to, if you watch it, don't skip ads, watch the whole thing, go watch 2 or 3 other videos in their entirety. You can come back and continue gaining revenue for that video instead of streaming. There's tips, there's ways out there to like work the system and to get funds back into the Black Lives Matter movement, into these communities, into bail funds to help support the people who are fighting the good fight.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We're gonna head out. Actually, one last thing before we leave, it's a small thing, but it's important, and I just wanted to thank Geek Outs for volunteering to be a mod for the duration of our charity streams, because
Thank you.
one of the things that we knew going into this is that there's a lot of ugly shit happening right now, and people who are trying to help trying to do the right thing have in many cases become targets of various hate groups, and so we need to be on our toes and looking out for this shit. So thank you so much, Geek Outs, and thank you, Amethyst Cat Lady, for stepping up. Both of you for stepping up this week and helping plan stuff, and with your ideas and stuff like that. So I wanted to make sure that did not go unacknowledged. So.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you for
everybody.
donating. Thank you for protesting. Thank you for donating other places and signing petitions. And thanks.
Yeah. All right.
Black Lives Matter. We love you.
Good night, everybody. We will see you the next time you decide to come fundraise with us.
Yeah.
I switched it up there. Yeah, that's right.
Night.
All right. Good
Good
night,
night.
everybody.
Night.